These skirmishes, so this is definitely a team to be affected. Champion Select will be starting up here pretty shortly. Excited for that to get kicked off. The debut of both of these top teams from their region here. Number 1 of CBLOL versus number 1 here from the LCS. Kicking off game 1 of hopefully a full 5.
Well, already we're seeing that Camille support band away for a mile, so maybe something coming through in the scrims that is giving a little bit of info across. But either way, the respect given towards Guigo as well with the Cassante, but Oriana up and available, the Varus up and available. They have been 2 of the main focuses coming into these drafts.
Also going to be really interesting. We obviously touched on Isles, what style he was going to be playing, but even more so for JoJo. JoJo played almost no engaged supports, throughout this split. Obviously, he has throughout his career. You're looking at his most played, and it's just pretty much all enchanters across the board with a couple of games in there of that Karma, and I think that's why we saw the Seraphine, the Bard being banned out. It is going to be a first pick Karma here, so looking for that lane dominance.
Yeah, even when there was the engaged meta support meta for the regions, it was still going towards those enchanter supports. So definitely something that JoJo likes is Duckman. Doing a bit of a shout out. Loves to hover the Teemo. But yeah, I still think that is going to be the focus for Fury coming into this, as the Jace immediately going to be taken for, I imagine, Dokla in that top lane, trying to get some push and control against Guigo, who does tend to go towards those more tank-oriented picks.
Yeah, so they're going to take away the Ezreal, take the Jace, and move already towards the poke-off. You can already see what is shaping up here. The Jace definitely can go both mid and top, but we are absolutely expecting it to be played there by Dokla. Saint can pilot it if they feel like it's a good flex, they'll do it, but we're expecting it to be up there in the top lane. It does make sense because you're expecting Guigo to play that more defensive style. They banned out the Cassante. They know he's probably going to go Mbessa or tanks, and now denying that Ezreal, they can look to try to play poke themselves. Maybe something like the Nico, I think I could see here on a 3 if they want to play that kind of lane dominant style. And there you go.
Yep, definitely trying to get control there. And I think also something that works well with, if you've got multiple options to poke, having something that then is enabled when teams try to jump in on top of you, like a Nico, works incredibly well. I think we even saw T1 piloting something like the Cassiopeia in the mid lane to kind of facilitate that as well. So you have multiple different styles, but as we talked about, tank forward, Guigo in the top lane. I'm now curious what Tattoo and Toots want to try and take as this mid jungle, though, because I imagine jungle ban's going to be leveraged for his Tattoo. They just try and get him a little bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah, so there's going to be at least him taken away. And we have parity in the draft, right? So both teams looking for their mid laner as well as their jungler, unless we're doing some sort of weird flex. Of course, there is possibilities, but we are expecting that we have some top lane as well as both bot laners coming through. Trundle, to me, always says, I want to play Xin Zhao, and that is kind of one of those potential bans. And also
does soak if you're Sion. Yeah. But I do agree. I think the Xin Zhao has been something that's incredibly strong, honestly, from both sides, but definitely more towards Tattoo. It's his most played champion. Yep. And when you've got this kind of Karma, Jane can try and look for pushing that bottom side. The Karma and the Xin Zhao just sync so well together for looking for invades, for trying to play around the map in early skirmishes. And we already talked about it. That's kind of the style that Fury has gone to. So I imagine that's going to be the case. And then still, I mean, the Oriana open available, that could work for Toots, but he's also been more interested in having some of these like roaming styles like the TF, the Rise, the Galio have kind of been his focus.
It is absolutely true. And I think that LYON are kind of saying, like, I dare you, because Akali is up, and those melee champions can be a real specialty for Saint. That is his most played. His 3 most played are all melee champions, throughout the split, the Yone, the Akali, the Sylas. He will play the control mages. He's good at those as well. But I think that LYON are comfortable. And the question is, will they be taking away one of those more standard control mages here, as they are going to have to find in some stuff.
Looks like it's going to be the Jarvan, immediately locked in. I was thinking either Wukong or Jarvan, essentially like having someone that's very strong in team fights, can play that engage tool to follow up alongside the Nico is going to be great, and Jarvan kind of enabling that long range engage to follow up after focus was done, but still, I think you've got options here as Tattoo as you want to start moving on.
Yeah, and Tattoo is someone who absolutely will cook. He's played Nara jungle, he has played the Nasus jungle, he plays Sehen, he plays Skarner, he plays Olaf, he plays all kinds of stuff.
It's crazy.
So, he's not going to be limited whatsoever, and we just kind of have to see how standard do you want to be here. This is probably going to be an Oriana, I feel like, with an Fury coming through, but instead, no, it is going to be the Rise. So I was thinking that they might have gone for that Fury Oriana combo, but potentially nervous about some of the answers that could be available.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure if they wanted to go towards the Ahri, just trying to have something with a bit of mobility against that J4 in the mid lane, because you do the options now to try and set up for some of these plays, and Saints going to be happy to get the Oriana on this last pick because it's such a strong mid laner still, despite the nerfs. And look at the combos you have. Like, the team fight online is disgusting.
It absolutely is. You're looking at a lot of low mobility champions, the Karma, the Jin, the Rise. It is instead going to be the Syndra, so playing more for that 1v1 matchup. Syndra definitely something that is rising in priority here at MSI. We've seen it come out a couple times. Cap's even got a Penta on it. We've seen it banned out a couple times. So it's something that is getting a little bit more popular. Definitely a lot of ability to fish for poke here from the LYON side when you think about fishing with Scatter of the Week, Shock Blast, Ezreal Qs. Whereas on the side of Furia, I really think they want that more committed fight.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of space buying tools with the Syndra and the Nico. Also an incredibly strong mid jungle for LYON to try and play around. Like, we talked about the lack of mobility for the Rise, so maybe you can look for some plays early around that mid lane. And as you say, for Furia, I think it is about trying to get up close and personal. But even when you get up close and personal, I'm still a little nervous for Furia. So this, to me, says they need to get the ball rolling early, especially around Tattoo, and see if he can then start finding these picks around the map.
Yeah, definitely a lot of threats on the LYON side. This is going to be exciting to see how this game one goes. Something I'm always watching out for with Tattoo is what is the level 1 game plan. If he feels they can get an edge somewhere, he is not afraid to invade. He's not afraid to do, one camp in to meet your opponent on their camp. He will go for aggressive plays, and they will craft their entire early game around these setups. Sometimes even you'll see his soul laners are going to be sacrificing their ways, sacrificing their lanes to actually play with Tattoo. He really is the engine of the team, and I think that is something that can be said of both of these two rosters.
Yeah, I think this is where, again, like having stuff like the Karma to try and help sync with you in the early stage is going to be very nice. But we'll have to see as it starts to teeter in towards game number 1 of what I expect to be an absolute banger of a series between the Americas teams.
There we go. Like I said, they're ready to scrap here already at level 1. We are on the Rift. Game 1 here. Kicking off. It's an All-Americas affair. CB LOL versus the LCS as JoJo does not have his mantra. Remember, he had already used that. So LYON going to take this very aggressive trade. They get the barrier out. The mantra was spent in the level 1 trade mid, which I think prompted Isles and Berserker to say, you do not get to walk back here for free.
Yeah, even investing the exhaust to just make sure they could get the favorable side of the trade. So now both barrier and heal gone makes it a little bit more difficult for Fury to kind of hope for that control on this bottom side of the map. And already Berserker starting to push in effectively. And I think Berserker has been such a key part of LYON as well. He's looked exceptional on the Ezreal. So if you can get him into a decent spot, he's more than capable of carrying a game.
It absolutely is. And Vendetta is Riftbound's upcoming set, arriving July 31st. And it is all about the rivalries that have shaped Runeterra, a few of which have changed the future of Runeterra, quite like Jason Victor. And today we are revealing one half of that iconic conflict.
Yeah, and I think Douglas going to have a decent time in this top lane on the Jace, to be honest. Push already there. And you got the junglers both junglers passing towards this top side. So I expect Inspire to try and cover for him at least a little bit in the early stages. And that was kind of what we saw that early invade to get the vision, to make sure that Douglas can get that early control. But at the get-go, I mean, LYON, this is kind of what you want, right? Like, push across all 3 lanes. You're not really giving a huge amount to Tattoo, but he may take it anyway as he's hopped over the wall, now looking to circle in behind the bot lane of LYON.
Yeah, he is going to be back behind LYON's bot lane. Now is revealed. Berserker is going to have to try to get out of here. Isles might be the actual target. They are going to be looking for Isles. The heal's going to be popped early. The root going to be sidestepped. Isles will be okay. It costs them the heal, but it does bail out the Furia bot lane a little bit. On the other side of the map, though, look where Inspired is. Immediately going in. He was spotted by a ward, though, as he crossed through the river, so they pinged out that he was going to be on that blue buff. Doesn't look like anyone on Fury is in a position to respond, though, because Toots is low, and he's going to flash in onto Saint. The ghost popped immediately. Saint is going to get solo killed. It's first blood there for Toots as he flashes in and takes down Saint as soon as that scatter was on cooldown.
The trade looks so good from Saint from the get-go, but Toots waiting for those cooldowns to come in. The flash forward and the auto attack to secure it. A massive win for the CB LOL in the mid lane.
That is really big because, like you said, it did feel like Saint really was ahead. But as soon as he's used that scatter, Twist says, this is my opportunity. You don't have any way to get away here. Even if you match the flash, I have the ghost. Chases him down, takes him out. And we can see Tatu is going to be spotted on this ward. Doesn't necessarily know that he is on vision here. Inspired, of course, aware that he is around. And he is quite ahead in the jungle right now after having stolen away some of those camps.
Jojo has moved up towards this mid lane as well, though, just to try and help out Toots a little bit. So if Saint does overextend, an opportunity to maybe fish for something here. It looks like the reset is just going to come through. So we're kind of back to even Steven, because I was about to praise the early game for LYON. But you can see here, Toots ends up so low on the mid lane. Saint tries to step up for the trade, doesn't get the scat of the week. The immediate ghost. Toot smelled blood in the water and knew that he had it.
Yeah, that was really well played. I mean, if the scatter hits, he probably has him. But not only did the scatter miss, he flashed the W. So then there's no spells left. So just really well read there by Toots. And Saint, just didn't think that he would be looking for that aggressive positioning here. You can see this is that matchup between these two.
And I think this is where the most volatility is going to be. Like, I think if you're Tattoo, and even we saw Jojo roaming up, I think the focus is from Furia, see if you now punish the flashless Syndra in the mid lane. Still difficult enough because you do have that scatter of the week to try and buy space, but I would definitely be investing a lot of wards around this mid lane as Tattoo already here. Does he step up?
He might just do so, but he doesn't have flash or ghost, so it would kind of require an overextension from Saint. And Tattoo spending a lot of time here while Inspired is farming away. They do feel like they're pretty dedicated to trying to make this work, but Saint's spacing him well.
And that's the thing, despite with the mid lane, little unfortunate for LYON, but the bot lane trade, it was, heal that had already been invested on the opposite side to escape. You don't blow too much. And then it was Inspired who got the real big benefit by invading on that top side, been able to continue as clear. And that's what's really opened up the gold lead there. Plus it keeps Dokla safe, like you just highlighted. Like it's kind of like for LYON, good elsewhere, despite the mid lane going a bit awry.
Yeah, and now it's going to be a fight in mid lane. This time the scatter does connect. Toots trying to kite it back. Inspired looking like he wants to finish him off. Saint goes forward, picks up the aggro on the tower. Might get killed by the minions. Very close. Will survive, though, and Inspired does clean up that kill. The cannon.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my God.
Saint was dancing with the devil there. That was very, very close to going down, but successful gank in the mid lane. Kill going across to Inspired. And again, that was kind of the focus we said, like this mid jungle can be so strong for LYON if they can try and play this, especially while Toots has no flash.
Exactly. And Saint had it all calculated. Got one question for you. Did he have more than 1 HP? He did.
He might have even had 2.
Exactly. He's got more than he needed. He had space to work with, Rob. Don't worry about it.
I'm glad you have the confidence there because my heart was in my chest and my throat there for a second. So,
yeah, man. Some of those situations, you just got to believe, And Inspired takes his first base of the game after 6 minutes. So just got a big buy there. Had been super efficient. Tattoo spent a lot of time trying to look for these plays, and this is kind of Inspired's MMO. He is going to be Mr. Efficiency. He will look for ganks if it does fit his pathing. He's not going to go out of his way if he doesn't need to, though, and as a result, he's 700 gold ahead and starting to drag it.
It's the levels that are, for me, like Tattoo only just hit level 5 after clearing out his top camp there. Inspired already level 6, getting dragging, going to be able to go move back in towards his own jungle. And as you say, like this is the version of LYON that I think is the scariest, where Inspired is getting to pick up the dragons, getting to play through his own jungle. But Furia, they want to get active on this top side.
Oh, I don't know about this, though. A couple tower shots going on to Gigo. Dokla has cleared out the wave. There's 4 members here top. We'll see if Dokla can get out. You can see members moving up to try to help him. Dokla going to be in some trouble, though. It does get rooted up, and he is going to get knocked down there by Tattoo. Berserker is here to try to defend, but it is much too late. LYON lose another kill here.
Unfortunate there for LYON. Not quite able to make it happen, but still Inspired here. Trying to see if he can make something happen. Berserker stepping up, but I think, with too many members of Fury here, they're just going to step away. So nicely done. Fury able to get something on the board there for themselves.
Yep, good play. They move up towards that top side, but again, look where Inspired is. He is stealing away camps on the bot side. You send 4 top. He says, all right, I'll take your bot camps. And Berserker and Isles just playing up towards this top side, trying to fight for this Pixel Brush ward as Jojo takes the bad end of that trade and will lose his ward as a result.
So with the groups in just a few moments, I'm curious how both sides want to try and play this. Like Berserker now going to be able to get pushed in that top side. And you do have Oz in the area as well. If you're going to start this up immediately, but LYON want to contest.
Yeah, we'll see. Furia are first to the scene. Berserker needs to get down here if they want to contest. Saint now moving over with Inspired, as well as Isles, trying to take positioning. And it is just going to be one grub and out there for Furia, so they're happy that they got what they came for. LYON going to be able to clean up 2 more as Dokla's just down on that bot side pushing. And has that Ocean Dragon, early Ocean Dragon, always going to feel really nice. Now the Realm Warp going to be coming in. Gigo trying to set it up here for Toots. The knockup is good, and Dokla is gone. Another easy kill there as Furia playing the map well.
And starting to pick up the pace. And if Furia is able to do this, this is where they should be able to, again, kind of stop some of the side lane control that can come through from Dokla, get into a position where they can contest these later dragons. And a huge amount of this has kind of come from Toots getting control of that mid lane early. Like, despite the early gank, he's still been able to get push and move into these side lanes now.
He has been doing a good job. Got the solo kill early. Realm warps down towards that bot side. This is what I'm talking about. Fury play the map well. They start the grubs. They draw Lion up. They take their one grub. They back off. And then they use that tempo. Well, they know Lion is all sitting for those last two. They go bot. They kill off Dokla again.
And I think that's been kind of the most impressive glow for this team. Like, when they were brought together, it was like, hey, these are all kind of mechanical gods. They are insanely good when it comes to hands. But it was kind of ThinkHard who brought them together and said, hey, we're going to teach you how to play the game, though, how to work in the macro. And that's been where they've grown the most over the last year. And you're starting to see the results in LYON. Again, need to try and find these ways to slow down the pace of the game. But there is decent vision down for Fury here. You can see a ton of wards over by the Lion's Krugs in towards the Lion's jungle as well, just spotting out where Inspired is and what his path is going to be.
Exactly, and Inspired now does have his Sundered Sky, so finishing that first item here on the map, and will be looking to play around that power. Definitely someone to really try to utilize those item completions to their maximum. That is a couple plates available here if they can actually walk up and get an auto down. They should be able to probably on this next wave, and you can see Saint even cheating down towards that bot side, trying to get some vision down to protect their pushing bot lane.
Look at the trade that's happening, though. Immediately, Two starts to move top as you get Inspired caught on that ward. So maybe looking for a play towards Dokla, but he's reading this, backing away, does not want to get caught there. So much movement, and Lion starting to adapt to this faster pace from Fury.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and it's a good call. You know, Tiz was definitely looking. Didn't have the Realm Warp quite yet, so would have required Dokla to overextend. He played respectfully, and now Tatu back up here with no one from Lion on that side of the map. Dokla may just have to back off and give up some farm, give up some plates, which he'll survive, but it means he's falling behind this 1v1 because Gigo, after the kill on bot side, took some plates there. Now he's going to be able to knock down that Crystalline Overgrowth, but Inspired looking bot for IU. We'll see if he can find him. Going to decide to turn around onto JoJo, but there's just nothing there as they can't really close the gap. The curtain is going to get called here. As IU trying to throw some damage back onto Isles. Heal will be used. Isles should be fine. And they're just kind of denying a little bit of CS. They take down a couple plates, push the bot lane back, and keep the gold even.
Yeah, so Berserker kind of coming out the best out of that situation, been able to avoid some of the getting some of the groups away from IU as we go looking for something top lane.
Yeah, but Popsy ulti, that was a bit ambitious. I mean, maybe if Dokla did get hit by the ult, he could have made a play there, but at the end of the day, this is kind of the ulti for nothing.
I was even going to say, under tower, I don't know if I want to stand there and just try and ramp up that slam, so definitely ambitious is the word for it. But still, I like that we're getting so much pressure. Like, we already know the rivalry that exists between CB LOL and LCS and how much it would mean for both sides to be able to take each other down as we hop into a quick pause.
Yeah, Gigo testing the waters, realizes, it's not going to happen. But it is a very even game here thus far. A couple of grubs apiece. That early Ocean Dragon obviously going the way of Lion, and Berserker and Inspired with a gold lead. So we do have pretty much a dead even game, I would say, at this point, and it's kind of what you expect from Lion games. If you don't just collapse in the laning phase, Lion generally plays slow. They look for their setups, and they try to get ready for these objectives.
Yeah, and I think this is where, for Lions, like, you're pretty happy. At the end of the day, you've already got that first dragon. You've been able to contest a lot of other objectives, and I think as the team comes start to roll out, like, I like the fact that you've got this, like, Nico Jarvan, the poke that you have, and you've been able to keep pace at a relatively good level, and you have a short range with the Scion, the Rise, the Neferi as well. So from that perspective, I think you've got answers to a lot of what's been brought to the table. So I still think, like, Fury need to kind of keep this rapid pace so they can hope to find success, get some kills on towards Toot, and hope he can be a side lane threat that can help out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's always going to be a hard game for IU. You know, he can try to play way far back, but, you know, they do kind of require the damage from the Jhin. And the question to me is, you know, if Toots gets strong enough, you know, if he does get those 3-4 items and has Azonia and has Archangels, has Roa Stack, has Karma Shields, even if you catch him with your combo, can you kill him, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's kind of that difficulty is we all know Zonia's answers the unleashed power from Syndra so incredibly well. So, you know, if he can become that kind of brick wall and just move in with the rest of his team here, then all of a sudden, even if you get that combo on Lion's side, maybe it doesn't need to fight.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is going to be on Guigo's engages as well. The Scion kind of needs to make sure he's able to close that distance, because if you're trying to take space into a lot of these fights, are in towards these objectives, it is going to be relatively difficult without him there, and also kind of finding that quick fight, because the more poke that lands, the more difficult it's going to get, especially as we were already highlighting. Like, for me, LYON, their setup around objectives is incredibly impressive. Like, they clearly understand how their composition wants to operate, and with a poke comp like this, they will fan out. They will look to find poke around the main tank, and that becomes a little dangerous for Fury in that regard.
Absolutely does, and it sounds like on stage we are ready to get back into it. So hopefully we'll be a quick pause, and we will be getting things underway here relatively quickly. And I'll give you guys info as soon as I get anything more, but it looks like it is all okay. We are back into game, and things will resume for now at this very, very even state. Second Dragon is up, and Inspired is down in that area with LYON trying to get push in mid, looking for that setup around Dragon here. And their base timings are pretty good, so they're just trying to play in the face here of Furia and take a little bit something more.
You have to be a little careful, because you can see that Toots was considering roaming across there, where they would have had that numbers advantage, but now opting back in towards his bottom side. You still have Guigo pushing top with no TP, whereas Dokla does. So I think for Furia, they kind of just need to give up on this Dragon with the numbers advantage that LYON potentially could have.
Yeah, especially because he used that ulti, that Sion ulti for that attempted dive. So it would be hard for him to join even that way. So it does look like, as you say, Furia will just have to give this up. They're getting pushed on bot side, though. We'll have to be careful after this Dragon goes down that they don't get collapsed on. And we're just kind of waiting to find out, what sort of soul will be available. Infernal, I would say, is probably the best for LYON, given that they're playing pretty poke heavy and it can't be Hex Tech. So we'll see what they roll.
Yeah, the poke and Infernal combo is not entirely fair all the times when you do see it come in. Still, I'm liking the way the Fury are playing this. So they immediately pushed out bot with Toots, and now looking for a little bit of a later cross map, as you have Isles up here trying to cover for Dokla. But that's a lot of members of Fury in this top lane.
Yeah, they are overloading the top side of the map. Their entire team is up here at this point. All 5 members coming from Fury. You can see Saint quickly running out from base. LYON realize this is what is going on, so they are going to back off for now, but they would like to defend the tower if they can. Gigo taking a lot of damage. The unleashed power from Syndra just used to soften him up, and now the Ezreal ult comes across the map. And Furia have been answered by this 4 thus far. No one is there to stop Berserker, so LYON answer the play with 1 less man and get the push in mid.
Yeah, you got outplayed for Toots, but I think a lot more going across the Berserker there, and the wave being lost too, so I'm going to be relatively happy with the way that they defended that one. But again, I love how active this early game is. You've got so much, it's like a chess game, going back and forth with teams trying to cover on either side. And I think a huge amount of that has come down to some really clever vision control that we've seen from both sides. LYON had that ward in the second bush there on that top lane to make sure they can spot out as Furia were trying to make that play. We've got some deep wards that is enabling Furia to try and look for answers as well. Everyone is just on this push-pull constantly.
It absolutely is true. Dokla just trading back and forth. Has rushed the Serpent's Fang, obviously good against Sion, good against, the Archangel's shield, good against the Karma shield. So pretty valuable here. And I think, once you get ganked a couple times, you kind of realize you're not going to be winning the 1v1 that much anyway. So I think it makes sense to go a bit more for that utility instead of rushing something that is more for that 1v1 side lane.
Yeah, we start to see it more and more, and I do think the value for it is just absolutely insane. But with 20 seconds now until this Rift Herald spawns, an option here for LYON. They do have good push. They still have that TP for Dokla, who, forced the flash away from Guigo. Not the start that you wanted here.
No, and there's the scatter going to be sidestepped by Toots. Gigo definitely taking over in that 1v1, has his first completed item, underneath Bear, has the steel caps, and he is kind of just turning into a brick wall here for Dokla, who was not in hammer form, so couldn't knock back to actually interrupt that decimating smash, and as a result felt he had to flash or risk getting taken down. Inspired in the area here, LYON wanting to play for this Herald, and do have a pretty good setup for it, but Furia do have 4 members, and they have the TP available on the sign as well to join. They're going to go in onto Saint immediately. Nice immune of the flag and drag coming through. Tut's going to pop the Ghost, chasing after Inspired, who is getting chunked very low, and they're not going to get a kill, but that might have earned them the Herald here, as it looks like we're seeing multiple members from LYON just going back for the base. Gigo going to flash in here. Dokla's going to try to get out of dodge. We'll see if he can outplay it. Looking for the side steps, running back and forth, trying to get some space here. The knockback is still not there. Dokla can't avoid the decimating smash, and he's going to get knocked down and solo killed by Gigo. As on the other side of the map, Furia starting up this Herald will claim it. Lions trying to see if they can actually keep them around here and maybe get an extended fight off the back of it, but they can't get anything. So Furia win out on both sides.
Fury, insane win. The fact you get that kill for Rigo and you're able to force back line. I don't think they're going to follow up too heavily on JoJo here. Could be wrong, though.
JoJo is the target, gets hit by the Flag and Dragon. Inspired doesn't have a lot of backup, but he's going to throw the ulti down onto Tatu. Just hops right out of there, no problem. Nice buffer on the Flag and Drag here, as the Deadly Flourish did come through on him Inspired, but won't get much of anything. Lions try to put on some pressure. Aren't able to really capitalize on it whatsoever. The game remains very close, though, with the only real advantage being those two dragons on Lion's side.
Yeah, Inspired didn't really have the follow-up there, but I think he was just hoping to burn some summoner spells before that next dragon spawns in a minute's time. So JoJo now not having the heal or that flash could be a potential target. But Fury have been doing a good job of answering on these objective setups. Like in that position, they end up forcing their way in towards River. Lion don't have their poke in the position that they want to, or the ability to just all in. So you end up finding that moment with a quick all in from Tatu to push them back. And now that's bought them the space they want for JoJo to start to step in towards River, start to get some vision control for this dragon that's about to spawn.
And they're kind of doing the Lion Classic against Lion, where, you know, Inspired was famous for his teams just giving up dragons, playing cross map. They don't have the right setup. And Furia has kind of been the one doing that, trying to play for gold, trying to play for these side lane kills when they can't actually contest the dragons. Has not gotten them a massive lead, but you can see Lion collapsing here potentially onto Toots as we are watching Jace down a couple levels briefly. You check in on the Coinbase gold grind here. Gigo with a pretty significant advantage, up 1,400 in the 1v1, and is going to be going for a bit of an offensive build here, as he's not going to be staying full tank. Maybe just feels like, hey, I'm tanky enough, you have to fight through me, and if I go a little bit more aggressive, I can actually punish players that are trying to walk past me.
Yeah, especially because Jace and Ezra are not exactly the biggest tank killers, but we've already got a bit of a scrap here for Tatu.
Yeah, Tatu going to have to use the immunity very early on the scatter. Gigo trying to create some space moving forward here as they reclaim space here in that river. Dokla coming in from the side. Gigo's going to get sectioned off. They're looking for him. Pops the ulti, but cancels it very quickly. Wants to stay around for the fight. Isles on the side is taking a ton of damage from Ayu, and Isles is going to have to go back to base, you think. It sneaks in the shot. Jin takes him down, and Tatu flashing in onto safe, but he's taken out by the curtain call. Beautifully played there from the Jin. Inspired falls as well. Berserker is in trouble. Trying to take down Ayu. Uses the exhaust, shift to the side, does get a kill. Dokla fighting against Gigo here, trying to survive. Berserker has fallen, and it is only Dokla alive as Furia will wipe Lion from the map here, taking him down. The question is, can they even get the dragon? I think the answer is no. So I feel like we're just going to be setting up for round two, but that Jin ult, Rob.
That was insane. The fact he managed to sneak past two of those shots to finish off members of Lion was beautiful. But I love the way Guigo played this, using the shield off the teleport to buy so much space for Furia, get control, and then even as Inspired looks for the engage, using the ult to cancel the CC from Inspired so he can reposition and not be focused down. We just see it here. Really well orchestrated, and that buys the space for Fury to step forward. You get that reposition from Tatu as well as he wraps around on towards the bottom side, and the shots from Ayu raining down perfectly. Furia played this fight exceptionally well.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. Tatu, built so much space there for Ayu, who almost is able to win out on this 1v1. Was really well played by Berserker, though. Gets the exhaust down, shifts to the side to be able to avoid JoJo, who's trying to block those Mystic shots, but you can see a little bit of frustration there on the face of Berserker. So misplaced in that team fight for sure. You would have wanted someone to block both those Jin shots that got kills. Maybe those Lion players could have actually survived and looked to try to turn around, but we're setting up here once again, and it is going to be Furia claiming the dragon, as this time Lion just playing for sides.
I thought Lion might have actually taken the fight because they burned so many flashes on Furia's side in the last fight that suddenly Inspired has a lot more targets. Same for Saint with the scan of the week, but instead just opting to go towards those side lanes, try and get some standing gold, and hope that they can live to fight another day.
It was kind of the gold lead for Ayu now. That has completely eliminated the lead that Berserker did have. Dokla got some gold back, and Inspired still staying ahead. Still quite a close game, but it is now a significant gold lead that has been opened up from Furia, as they have just been winning most of the scraps. It is 9-3 in kills. And still that one dragon lead here for Lion. So it is anyone's game, as Toots battling here against Dokla is just going to realm warp out to safety. Didn't feel confident that he could win the 1v1 and just decides to back off.
Yeah, I think I was unsure as to where the rest of Lion were, so just going to step away from that one. But again, I think Fury in a position where they can start to just push outside lanes. You've got Toots, I think, who's going to back and finish off a second item here as well. So in a relatively good spot. And it's LYON now who are trying to see if they can get some deep vision on towards this top side. Look for a play towards this low health turret mid. But you've got so much wave clear between Jojo and Ayu. That is going to be a difficult one to try and take easily.
Absolutely is. Saint now picking up that rocket belt. So prioritizing a little bit of mobility. He has been the target, it feels like, in a lot of these scraps. Tatu always going straight for him. As Inspired going in, Tatu in trouble. Gonna pop Call of the Pack. The root is there. The Jin ult is popped. Inspired has got to run. But can he survive? He's shot out of the air. It's duck hunt here for Ayu as they want even more. Isles is going back in. Saint over the side. Hits the scatter, but the Karma shields just say no. And another deadly flourish is gonna connect. Ayu is on fire. This man can't miss.
Oh, it's a pause as well. Absolutely insane. Furia take a massive fight, and it was a little unfortunate because we'll have to see what happens with the pause, but as Inspired tried to hit the blast cone, he auto-attacked one of the dogs from the Neferi, so couldn't get out. I meant that he was stuck there, and Furia able to pick off him. With the re-engage to finish off Isles, it just hasn't gone the way of LYON in any of these fights thus far.
It absolutely has not, and the Jin is really on fire. I mean, he's in every single deadly flourish. It feels like he can't miss with the ult. Normally, people are such Jin haters, but then you see a game like this, you're like,
I'm a Jin hater.
Like, wow. I mean, you just don't miss any of your abilities. You just hit all your
you
shots.
look pretty good, and
it looks pretty powerful.
Yeah. Who needs the fourth shot if you just hit 1, 2, and 3? You know, so,
the fourth shot is just a celebration. You keep that up in the air after you win the team fight.
We'll have to see what happens though. But still, this is incredible stuff from Fury. And again, we kind of talked about this clash of styles, and it definitely feels like the faster pace of Fury is now starting to take over, where they are finding picks. And funny enough, it was LYON who opted in towards that invade on the top side, thinking that they would be stronger with some of the push control they had. But even though they nearly burst out Tatu, Inspired just getting picked off at the start of that really put a dent into the work for them.
It really did. And I mean, Isles has been taking so much damage before he's even able to go in for the engage. So even though he gets the pop blossom in on multiple members, there's the Mantra shields coming through. There is, a ton of protection there from that Karma. And they're able to absorb a lot of the damage. I mean, the scatter hit over the wall, but it's just LYON has not really been able to connect to the same target all at the same time. And this is the kind of playstyle that generally LYON excels in. They're really so good at those setups, but has been Furia winning out. And we can see league officials are investigating a potential hardware issue with Furia. We will update with more information as soon as we know. It did look like Tatu was talking to the refs, so maybe some sort of an issue there. As soon as we know more, we will let you guys know exactly what the tech pause is for.
I mean, I'm hoping for Furia's sake that it's an easy one to kind of continue with, because it has been so good for them thus far. Especially the fact that we kind of talked about wanting to see Tatu get off to this early start on the Neferi so he can be much more of a threat. I think that's been fantastic. The way he's even played fights as well, like the wraparound at that Dragon fight was incredible too. Like, I really think that Furia have a good understanding of what they want to achieve. Plus, we go solo killing Doke on the sideline. What happened to Big Dokes? Like, this isn't it.
He's a medium-sized Dokes.
I mean, he's against Sion. Everyone's small compared to him,
All right, well, we are going to be getting players back into games, so whatever the issue was, it appears to have been fixed. And we are going to be starting things up, and they're going to be right in onto the Baron as Furia win a big team fight over by the Baron. It's post 20 minutes, and that is going to give them a stranglehold on this game. Dragon's not going to mean much of anything, as Doka's going to try to get some gold back on the other side of the map. But LYON, with this comp, when you fall behind, you just don't have enough damage to actually get those initial kills, and it feels like this game is quickly slipping out of their grasp.
It's also so hard to try and retake space with this composition as well. Like, you're heavily reliant on Inspired, but we just saw he's not really tanky enough to try and survive for this. But we'll see on the replay here. So keep your eyes on Inspired as he tries to hit the blast cone, because he ends up hitting one of the dogs from Neferi here instead, so doesn't get the blast cone immediately. We'll let Tayo get the shot. And then it's the follow-up as well with Guigo coming in. Isles tries to set up for a play with Saint, but there just isn't enough damage. The shield is there. Saint can't get into position. And, I mean, you called it. Ayu just does not miss in this game.
I mean, he is hitting absolutely everything. It was great setup. Room Prison into the Deadly Flourish. They burst him down. And Inspire just wasn't expecting that collapse so quickly. And then even though Isles got in onto Ayu, Saint followed up with Scatter, but he wasn't in range for the ult, so it doesn't actually really matter whatsoever. And is now a 3.5k gold lead here for Furia. Lion going to have to try to find some big plays. They're looking now. Isles goes in onto Ayu. Ayu's in trouble. It's a great McHale from JoJo, but it is not enough. Dokla will fall. In comes Inspired. They're looking for more. Call of the Pack going to get popped here as Toots is going to arrive with the Realm War. Berserker goes straight on him. He has the exhaust. He wants the fight. The scatter is going to land. Toots is in a lot of trouble here, but the shield's coming in from JoJo. He's going to have to flash out, but here's Inspired, and Lion are on the hunt. The flash is forced. Toots and JoJo barely survive, but they get some kills, and they get some much-needed summoners off of Furia here as Lion get their first kill in a long time.
Yeah, they get the mid lane tower as well, but because Guigo wasn't there, he gets the push in that bottom side and manages to take the tier 2 tower for himself. This Death Stance Scion starting to get a little bit of gold into him as well. So yes, Lion did get the kills. They do burn some summoner spells, but I think it's how do they now, with those summoner spells down on Furia, try to bounce back in this fight for Dragon in a minute's time?
Yeah, that's a real question. I mean, Isles will have his flash desynced from some of those players, but once his flash is up, if you can make a quick play, maybe you can get something there. Obviously, won't be available for this Dragon, though. And the Death Stance, as he called out, very interesting tech. I've never really seen that. Usually, if people are going to go aggressive, they're going to go towards Titanic. They're going to go towards Bloodmail. These types of HP-based offensive items, but it is a pretty low DPS comp here, and Gigo just feels like this is the play. So we'll see if it does work out for him. As Lion getting sieged on, losing towers left, right, and center, it feels like, as Berserker trying to clear out these Baron minions, but it's a difficult job for an Israel.
Yeah, I don't think there's much push that you can get here for Lion. And with that Dragon now, just a couple of seconds time, it looks like we're getting Lion just saying, nope, not interested. We're going to go for the side lanes instead, try and push out, try and probably establish some vision in this top side jungle and steal away some of those camps that are about to respawn.
It's pretty terrifying now as Ayu has the Infinity Edge completed. This guy has the biggest gold lead in the game by quite a lot and has been really playing well in these 5v5s. And now that Jhin damage is going to get ramped up massively with that Infinity Edge. Berserker still reasonably strong, Saint within striking distance of Toots, and Dokla just trying to play side lanes as well as he can to continue getting gold. Lion know they just need to keep themselves at least within striking distance so that if you find a good fight, you have a chance.
Yeah, and I think it is kind of going for these plays we just saw where Lion try and push inside and immediately collapse onto mid lane. And if you can try and find those picks and find those quick plays, that's where I think you can start to buy back the space that you need to find these bigger fights. But at the moment, Fury are doing a good job of kind of advancing as a line across the map, not giving those moments where Lion can find those quick picks.
See Saint level 15, of course, is going to be down a level thanks to that Roa there for Toots, who has a little bit of experience on top. Once Saint is level 16, that is going to be nice. And once he got all his abilities upgraded, that is really helpful as well. So I think they're trying to play for Saint having 3 items, having 16, play around that potential high burst that he can look for as Berserker completes the LDR. Third item's really starting to come in across the map.
Yeah, I do think, though, this Guigo is just such a monster at this stage. 3 items completed. I think he 1v1s basically anyone that ends up in a side lane against him. So it is going to be difficult for Lion to try and keep this Scion in check. And especially, it's kind of shut down some of that side lane pressure that you'd expected Jace to really have up against the Scion at this stage, where he can just continue to shove in these waves and create another point of pressure for Fury.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. As Gigo just ults out on the map there. Just a tempo ult, getting things moving. Saint spot sits on the side, but JoJo is there to cover. It feels like every time. They're doing a good job playing the map here. You can see they move up. They create this line of vision for Toots to feel safe. They have multiple pink wards on this top side. They have that one deep ward, and Lion are trying to combat this as best as they can, but that is another difficulty for Dokla, who's been tasked with pushing out these side waves, is where is their vision? It's all their side of the map.
But I think it's you do see Fury are just advancing literally as a line. We're getting this where it's just okay, cool, we're going to set ourselves up with here. Nobody break that line. Okay, we've gotten our vision control down now. Slowly move up a little bit more and make sure that you're able to look for plays.
Exactly, and it's really smart. Just step 1, step 2, they are playing it by the book. This is what I talk about when I feel like people are underestimating Furia. They're coming in, they're looking at CP Law as, all right, well, that's a free win. It is not true. It is not true whatsoever. This team can play the map. They can play the fights. They are a team to be respected. They are showcasing that here. As Ayu going to have his 4th item by the time we get to this next fight, you have to think. And this guy is going to be a beast. People talk about Jin being, low consistent damage. But when you get to, full build,
you
get so much AD that all of a sudden, 1 4-shot and someone just kind of dies.
And also, who's tanking that? On the opposite side, you don't really have anyone who's going to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, I can take all this damage from the Jin or even from Toots as well. At least working up towards that actualizer. Won't have this towards this next fight, but still in a very good spot as he looks towards scaling. So I do think for LYON, they need to find these windows to punish Furia, but Furia just not giving it to them.
Yeah, they absolutely are not. Saint has reached 16, has the components for the death cap, but does not have the death cap, and Furia are on the Baron here. Tatu and JoJo just trying to zone them away. This has been spotted out by LYON. We'll see if Furia want to commit to it. It's down to a bit below half HP. As Furia trying to turn, the curtains get called. Saint immediately flashes over as Gigo's ulting into the back line, chasing after Berserker and Isles. Isles is caught, and Isles is dead. Can't get anything off. The scatter going to land there onto Gigo, but he gets shielded up. The Deadly Flourish this time will not arrive. The Realm Warp comes in. Inspired's looking for him, but Inspired's going to get knocked up. He's in trouble as Saint on the side gets killed by Tatu. Inspired has to run, and LYON's got to get out of there. JoJo flashing back, pops the heal. It's 2 for 0, though, for Furia, as they'll go right back to the Baron. Another beautifully played fight.
LYON are the prey here for Furia, and they are happy to catch some of them. The immediate turn off to Baron, the Realm Warp in to seal the deal, but the TP from Dokla. I don't know if you can do particularly much here, as Duke's going to find him.
Going to try to delay. Tatu over the wall, though. Toots there as well. The exhaust going to be used by Berserker. Toots is in some trouble. Inspired arrives. The Baron is still alive, but now Fury is in trouble. Have they gone too far? Isles catches JoJo, and this could be bad for Furia, but thankfully they've taken down Berserker and Dokes. So will just be a prevention of that Baron take, but not one for LYON themselves. Their pings onto the dragon, though.
It's prevention with a flare. I mean, the fact you managed to get so many kills after that, and now you get position of the dragon, is huge from the turnaround. This is the initial engage, where Guigo immediately pulls the trigger. You already have the curtain call. Oz gets caught out. And then again, Furia reform around this front line of Guigo. As everyone from LYON starts to move in, the Realm Warp comes through, and the dash away from both members to make sure that they're not going to get caught by the knockup from Inspired. Means they're able to finish off some of these members. But this re-engage, I thought it was going to be done and dusted as on live. Tatu just able to escape, but yeah, they end up going over the wall to try and finish off Dokla. The max health shield doing a lot of work to keep him alive for a long time until Inspired gets there. The rest of the team shows up, and there's good damage there for him.
Yeah, I mean, Isles does find that big ulti. Ayu have been playing an incredible game, but flash too far, does get punished for it. And Tatu looking to try to set up for this 50-50 smite. Inspired wants to push him out. Gigo is in the pit. It's going to be taken there by Tatu. Gets another smite, and now Inspired's in trouble. The Realm Warp's coming in. There's the big Cataclysm as Berserker gets pushed back. Saint is running for the hills. They do take down Tatu. 1-man advantage for now, but Berserker can't rejoin the fight, and that means LYON don't have the DPS to go for more.
No health bars online, but they managed to escape away. It's only Tatu who falls, but does steal away that dragon. So keeping that dragon in favor of Furia now. But this is so close. Every fight feels like it's fisticuffs and haymakers the whole time.
It is crazy. Saint has got to be on that death cap soon. There is the completion now coming through. Berserker trying to get towards his 4th item as Ayu's working on a 5th. It's close as far as the gold is concerned. This 50-50 could mean a lot because it put them on soul point.
Yeah, I mean, you see the steal coming through here. The curtain call opens up to try and force the rest of LYON away, find the space, but the steal there for Tatu is massive. And it's the follow-up fight that I thought was going to go well because his fire ends up so low here, but the rest of Furia just cannot follow up. Tatu tries to escape, but ends up getting chased down thanks to a nice hit from Inspired. And the rest of LYON are able to back away without falling as well.
And Isles snuck a really nice route through onto Tatu right before he got into the Call of the Pack. So I think he thought he'd be able to hit the Call of the Pack, jump away, create that safety, but he was rooted up there by Isles as LYON looking for more. Tatu jumps away from the engage, but in comes Gigo with the teleport. Will LYON commit to the fight? For now, they're going to back off, but the Science says, no, you cannot do that. And it is Inspired being caught. Flag and drag back through. Toots on the side could be in trouble. It's a big ulti from Isles. It's Toots standing. It's Toots fighting. And it's Toots winning for now. Into the GA goes Inspired. Berserker on the side trying to take down Gigo. But Gigo is so damn tanky. Finally, though, the Baron gets aggro, and it's going to be the 6th man and help out LYON. Ayu calls the curtains, looking for Isles. Isles will fall. Berserker takes the 4th shot, almost just dies from full. with a fist to the back of the head there from Sion. It's another bloody fight here, 2 for 2 at the end of the day.
What is happening, Azale? These fights look like they're kicking off so well for either side as we get line with a good engage on towards the rise. But dudes, there's so much damage thanks to that actualizer. And even here, as this fight comes through, Inspired does a good job tanking up Guigo, buying the space he needs, flag and drag away. But I thought this rise was dead. But with Tattoo able to just get in there, finish off Inspired, and that actualizer damage doing so much work, Juice managed to stay alive. Guigo gets focused down afterwards. And it's this constant in and out that Inspired is playing that is just buying space, managing to go away on a low health bar that keeps these fights in check. But it is bedlam every time.
I mean, it is crazy. And like you talked about, there's no one to block the Jhin shots.
No.
Isles was pretty heavy on health, took 2 shots, and then just died to the Deathfire
regretted
touch.
it immediately.
He just completely gets knocked down, but you kind of just have to sacrifice your life in that position here. Berserker has completed the Shojin, though, so getting a lot stronger as IU now on that 5 items here. And the actualizer, amping up your shields as well. So you had the Archangel shield. He had all of the shields coming through from JoJo. So much protection meant that Toots just took too long to kill. And this is the time of the game that I was talking about in draft. When Ryze gets Sonya's next, good luck being able to burst this guy down. He's going to be playing in your face. Tatu can be able to immune that Syndra ult there, obviously with Call of the Pack. You can have Zonia's to immune it. It's very difficult to get to IU, so it is not easy, but LYON are fishing here.
We go on the bottom side, though. Look for the engage on Dokla with that ultimate. Seeing if he can get the 1v1 once again.
I mean, he's winning that 1v1 heavily. Now they're going to try to TP in and back up Dokla. Dokla is going to get that assistance here. We'll see if they can actually make the play happen as they do arrive. But IU is here as well. IU flashes in and deletes Saint. And now the curtain's getting called. Good sidesteps here from Dokla, but I don't think it's going to be enough. He is slowed down on the other side of the map. Furious starting up the Baron will be pushed back. But it's 5 versus 3 on the map, and when is the last time you saw the Jhin assassinating the Syndra as Inspired is going to try his luck, flashes in, gets a 1k shutdown. The healing is huge. That just might buy them some time to stay alive. But LYON just looking to go bot lane and play for the map because they cannot stop this Baron whatsoever.
The outplay in the bottom side with IU showing up, managing to get the kill, sets up for the Baron. And it feels like LYON is scrambling a little bit to try and cover for it.
They absolutely are, but one big thing, Inspired getting down there kills IU, and IU dies last. So IU is not going to be up for this dragon spawn. So maybe we could see LYON go and just try to rush down that dragon. I think that is going to be the idea. Rush down the dragon, deny the soul, bring yourself the soul point, and then try to delay. But Isles out on the map. Isles is going to get caught. He is trying to get vision, and Isles might just give away a freebie, and he does. That is devastating for LYON because now that kill on IU means nothing. And they're going to lose soul as well.
And I was about to say, Inspired got the shutdown on IU as well. Immediately gets a Hex Drinker, which means he's able to play a little bit further up in these fights. He's trying to look for the steal.
Gets knocked out of the flag and drag, trying to pull back. Berserker is here, Saint is here, Dokla is here. They're going to try to punish Gigo, but he is so tanky. Inspired goes forward, looking for Tatu. Eyes on the dragon now. It's going to come down to the smite fight. Can Tatu get it once again? He's going for it, and he gets it. It's the soul, but it's a kill on the other side. Toots trying to make a big play here. Inspired blocking the shots. Berserker shifts forward. Toots goes into the Zonias, but he's taken down. IU knocked up by Inspired. Inspired and Berserker are fighting. And on the other side, Saint is running for his life against this Sion. He's got to get out of there. Gigo was the target at the start of the fight, and he is just never going to die. Berserker shifting away. They're trying to whittle him down. Isles is back now. Tatu needs to get over there and help him out. Saint is low, but he goes into the stasis. Isles with the Pop Blossom. It gets immune by the Call of the Pack. Berserker shifts away, trying to survive. They're going to get the kill, and still, Gigo cannot take down Saint. Gigo running for his life now, trying to go for the recall. It will not be allowed. LYON standing, LYON fighting, and LYON finally gonna take down this raid boss. You have to think, but Gigo refuses to die. This man better drop some good loot. LYON get the delayed ace and hold on in this game.
Oh my God, these fights are absurd. Berserker played out of his mind at the end of this one, but we have to go back to the start. It's Tatu who ends up once again getting the spike because at the start of this, it's no members of Fury are really in position to follow up. You're waiting on the Rise and the Jhin to come through, and as they do, that's where they start to win this out versus LYON. But it's then Berserker who plays this perfectly from this point on, chasing down on towards IU with Inspired. And as he ends up fighting against Guigo, look at the minute details here. Ends up repositioning away from that auto. And then as Guigo starts to try and run at him again, he repositions once more at the perfect moment. He kited that so perfectly to help close it out.
Brilliant play there from Berserker in the MasterCard priceless moment of the game. And now LYON full court press here. They're out on the map trying to deal some damage. They knock down the mid tier 2, looking for the top tier 2, which is very, very low. This game is sole in the favor of Furia, but it is dead even in gold. And there are so many squishy members, so much damage that Soul is not a guarantee.
No, not at all. Like, this is crazy. And LYON, now with the positions they have and the tempo advantage they have, can actually start to set up for vision, can try and play their style of fishing for picks, fishing for that poke, and making Furia hurt to try and take back space on the map. You see how dark it is right now on that bottom side.
IU has reached his full 7-item build here. Berserker is strong, but they're going to look for IU, and IU has no flash. He's caught out in the mid lane, and IU is down. And that is a big-time pick for LYON. No hesitation. They immediately sprint towards mid, and Rise has got to get back to base.
Can LYON actually do it? They will at least try and crack the base here as they push in. The wave clear from twos has to be enough, but the tower is not sticking around for long.
The tower is dying fast, but Inspired is tanking it up, and Inspired could be in some trouble. Gigo going to get targeted. Isles goes forward, and he catches Touch, and Touch is just gone. Control, Alt, Delete, says Sage as he knocks down the Rise, who has been a thorn in his side all game long. You'll see, though, 3 members strong here from Furia trying to hold on. That is a tanky sign as Inspired moving in, gets the knock-up onto Jojo. It's eyes on the tower. We do see him coming back in the GA. Dokla's arrived with his teleport. They don't have a wave. I don't know if they can finish. Did LYON go too far? They're so damn tanky on the side of Furia. They're trying to make it happen, but the Jhin is almost back. Tatu is low, but he goes into the call of the pack, and LYON have got to run for it. The Jhin is back up, and the question is now, can they get away? It looks like the answer is yes, but what an insane game. LYON thought they had an angle to end, but they could not get through the brick wall that is the Scion.
Guigo TPing onto the tower to get that max health shield was crucial to being able to survive, and Inspired thought he might have been able to buy enough space going in, but couldn't quite do it. But now it's 50 seconds until Baron. You get a reset, but maybe not Dokla, who's forced to flash away.
Flash follow there from Gigo. Dokla stayed around, and Dokla may have just cost LYON big time. Stayed for a red buff, and the cost is his life and potentially the Baron as well. That is such a mistake, and he doesn't even have a completed item off the back of it.
That's heartbreaking for LYON. They just done so much work to get themselves into a strong position. Now in a 4v5, they need to try and find a way to fight this Baron, but Dokla was so much of that damage.
I think they're just going to have to give. I don't think you can risk the game in a 4v5. You've got to give the Baron and look to try to play towards the Elder unless you can maybe get a pick before. But it's so risky, and what a bad death for the 10th one of the game there from Dokla.
Inspired's going bot lane. Looks like LYON are going to give it up.
Yep.
Curious though, because what we saw a lot from LYON in finals was, hey, push out that wave bot, especially for Inspired, and then hide in the enemy jungle, try and look for these big flanks towards Dragon. Maybe the call here once again for LYON, because they need some magic if they hope to beat out on this Elder Dragon.
We have now crossed 41-16, which means it is now the longest game of MSI 2026, passing G2 versus TES in that one. LYON over early by this Elder. This is where the game will be decided, almost guaranteed one way or the other. The Elder going to be incredibly difficult to deal with. Dokla back on the map. Remember, he will have no flash. Neither will Gigo. Inspired also missing his flash and GA, so more resources available for Furia.
Yeah, especially with the Zhonya's completed for Toots. That was kind of the big crossing point you were talking about, Azale. And now Furia stepping up as a unit, retaking the space. LYON trying to see if they can get that poke down. But you can see Guigo, he's more than happy to just tank that one up at this stage.
He absolutely is. There's the Mantra shields coming out. Tatu jumping over. The scatter does not connect in onto him. Toots,
oh my God!
Mid lane, and Berserker just loses half his health there to a fourth shot coming through from IU. And now they're going to pull the Elder. Berserker trying to heal up a little bit on the side. Inspired there. Shift forward from Berserker. This game is on a knife's edge. It will all be decided here. Dokla looking for that poke, but hasn't really able to find much of anything. Inspired, Berserker, and Saint over by the pit. You can see Isles is wrapping around the back of the Dragon, looking for a potential angle. is going to get called here. Inspire tanking up 1, Inspire tanking up 2. How many more shots can he take, though? If you eat that 4 shot, you're going to be going low. And he is, in fact, down to half health. Berserker shifting forward, just trying to get as much focus as he can. As Gigo's going to go for it. Gigo goes in, but it gets blocked by the clone. Inspired knocked up. Toots and Tatu on the side. This dragon is low. It's been Toots winning it, but this time it's Saint! And the fight breaks out, and there it is. Miles with the Bomb Blossom. That might just seal it, but Toots on the side trying to make something happen. Berserker shifts in, but the Realm Warp saves him. Lion are on the hunt, and Furia run for the hills. Inspired. Miss smite after smite as Tatu is winning out, but the one that matters most is the one he takes. Lion looking for JoJo. Good sidestep, will stay alive, but this time it's a 2v5. They held with 3. Can they hold with 2? Not looking like they're going to be able to. As Isles going forward, lands the root. Dokla jumps in. Toots is going to stand. Toots is going to fight, and he's going to get a free kill. A good start to it. Potential defense here on the line as Toots moving forward, looking for Inspired. But their eyes are just on the towers. The towers are gone. The Nexus is exposed. Berserker shifts in and seals the deal with a kill. Berserker goes on a rampage, and a wild game 1 came down to a smite that neither jungler took. Saint claims the Elder, and that's what makes the difference. What a way to kick off the series.
As Saint Hood is definitely waiting for the mid laner of LYON back in NA, but we're going to kick it over to the analyst desk, because what the hell was that?
The Americas.
I said I didn't hear
God.
no bell. Oh my God. What an absolutely insane. Woo! My mic isn't even on. You probably
Oh my God.
Welcome back to MSI 2026 as we just came off of an absolutely insane game between LYON and Furia.
My heart rate still hasn't reset. That game was absurd. So much back and forth. Every fight felt like it was coming down to the wire. And I'm expecting the exact same as we get in towards our HyperX draft. My brain completely farted.
That's okay. It happens to the best of us. And the worst
And
of us.
me.
But also the best of us. But LYON versus Furia, going to be a fun one. LYON, I will say, from kind of the LCS bias POV, I do think they played some of the late game fights really well, but they made it a lot harder than I expected for themselves because I think some of their setups weren't as good. But I also agree, we were talking about this off camera, where it's like Furia was kind of making it difficult for them. They were taking space really well. Tatu was, really being aggressive, and I just wasn't missing anything.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible to see. And I think you can already see that focus is coming through in this draft as well, trying to get Tuts off to something with the TF, kind of the focal band there for me. This is something that we've seen a lot from Tuts 4 times. One of his tied for most played over the course of the domestic split. This is clearly we do not want this man popping off like he did the last game.
Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Because the triple ban towards him, generally people are going to say, okay, well, Tatu is the real star. But if you don't feel like you can ban Tatu out, maybe they feel like they can get more of an advantage. And Camille's going to come down here, which in this tournament has always meant that it is going support. And that was kind of a big question we had is, is Isles going to play that style? And if he does, how will he look?
Yeah, because one of the big things that we were talking about over breakfast was, Isles tends to be more about, hey, I want to play for the lane. I'm not going to roam a huge amount. I'm going to try and hard focus winning in the 2v2. This isn't the case, though. This is the champion that you want to get out of the map already. Work with your jungler a lot as well, which has been more inspired, focusing on his own clear and his camps and getting that golden experience lead through there. So a very different look, it would feel like, for LYON opting in towards the meta here.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how they perform. And if it is one of those expected pairings, such as Ziggs or Mel, that's kind of what you're looking for generally when you do see them come out. There's, of course, a possibility that they're just like, no, we're just going to play it top because you're going to play a tank or something weird. But there is the Ziggs. And we're definitely expecting this to be down in the bot lane for Berserker as well as Isles. And I will say, I'm probably more nervous for Berserker playing a Ziggs than I am for Isles playing Camille. Berserker has always been the AD carries AD carry.
Yeah.
This guy wants to play hyper carries. And he is 0-4 on Ziggs all the time, which does not surprise me at all. I think, he can definitely perform on these other champs. We just haven't seen it from him a while. And when you think of Berserker, you think of Sarah, you think of Yunara, you think of Felios, you think of late game AD carries that can team fight. Even his Ezreal was brilliant. But this is just such a different style. So I wonder, how it's going to look. And yeah.
And Casey showed us what happens when the AD carry picks up the Ziggs. So we'll have to see how Berserker.
He solo killed someone.
He did. That is true. That is true. Yeah.
And then what was his team doing?
But still, I am very curious to see how this one pans out, because I do think the good thing for the Ziggs is a lot of setup, right? Like the Wukong being able to knock people up, the Camille with the Hextech ultimatum, like it becomes much easier for Berserker to like land a lot of those things.
No, I completely agree. I mean, it's just so interesting because I feel like a lot of people, when they think of Ziggs, traditionally they think of you're standing 500 yards away and you're just wave clearing. But Ziggs can actually win a lot of 2v2s very, very heavily if you're using your satchel well, interrupting dashes, using your satchel to stop a crash down from Morel, and then all of a sudden Camille hookshots on her and she doesn't really have any recourse. But if you are just playing it super far back, it's generally not going to get that much value. So we'll see how he does perform on it. But traditionally not a guy who really plays outside that standard meta throughout his career.
On the opposite side, though, very good, strong composition being dictated here by Furia. The Vi and Cassiopeia already an incredibly strong pairing. We saw already a lot of dives start to form here for a line with both the Camille and the Wukong, so the Cassiopeia going to get a lot of value there. So I am curious now, how do we try and follow this up? Because in the first couple of fights that we saw in game one, it was Furia having the better setup and the better control and the better vision. So do LYON now try and rectify that, or can Furia cover their angles and really enable tilts on this Cassiopeia?
Yeah, that's going to be a big question. And Cassio is one of these champions that can be really difficult to deal with. It's a very similar style champion, I feel like, to Rise, where you kind of hit that certain point that you're so tanky. You can't ignore the champion, but sometimes it's hard to burst them down, and it's kind of that like push and pull of exactly how you want to play it out. A double mid lane ban here, trying to protect that Cassio. 3 mid lane bans were thrown toward Toots, and he is going for the Cassio, which is obviously a strong meta pick. So I'm curious to see where Saint will go. We did see Cap bring out, long. We sometimes see aggressive options. Sometimes people will play still like Yone and champions along those lines and try to just snap back as the miasma comes out. But you can also just go standard and say, all right, I'm just going to play Victor and just laser you from far away and kind of just match that scaling.
Yeah, I do wonder, because like obviously with the Ziggs in the bottom lane, it does open up some AD mid laners like the Yone if you really want to, but double AD coming through from the jungle and mid lane, always a little bit difficult. But the Aurora for that top lane.
Interesting solos. Yeah, so, kind of something a bit unexpected, I will say here from Gigo. Didn't play it at all in the split. And so they're considering just going in towards the Galio. I do think Galio is obviously very strong with the Camille. It's a great combo, can be quite powerful. I do think they might need a little bit more consistent damage from Nokla.
That's what I thought as well.
So I'm kind of wondering, that might also be the read from Furia. They're saying, like, you have to play some sort of AD champion that's going to bring some consistent damage, and Aurora's going to be good into whatever you pick. So maybe that's the thought process. But I like Gnar as an option, because I generally feel like if Gnar does not get bullied early...
Unless Cassiopeia bot lane?
It could be. We'll see if they're really cooking. They could also just be trolling us with the hover.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. So, yeah. So it looks like they will flex the Cassiopeia to the bottom lane, in towards the Ziggs. So already Furia mixing it up, and maybe Raz's Mage Infestation becoming a little bit more true here.
Yeah, that is wild. I mean, so this is first ever Camille for Isles. I'm going to check IU all time, see if he's ever played Cassio. I would not be surprised if he has not.
Yes. It still feels a little bit difficult for the Cassiopeia to try and play this matchup, though, because the Ziggs does have the range on you. The satchel charge to try and buy space. So definitely cooking, but I'm curious if they might have burnt themselves a little bit in this one.
Yeah, I was trying to think it out, too, because generally I feel like Cassio, you're really good into champions that rely on the dash, short range. Makes sense against Camille.
Yeah.
But Ziggs can also just poke you from far away and get the push, where Cassio could really struggle against champions that outrange her. So it's interesting. It's very interesting.
And the push is the main one that like sticks out in my mind.
Yeah.
It just then goes, okay, Camille, I'm going elsewhere. I don't have to deal with your miasma in the bottom lane. I can just look towards elsewhere. So again, I think that's kind of going to be the focus here. But also then comes back to that conversation of different play style for Isles. How does he then look on finding these roam timers?
Yeah.
And I think like Isles over the course of this year has really kind of grown as a player. He's kind of been on the lower tier team, now picking up his first championship. This would then open up another chapter in that book for him, which I think is an incredibly interesting story.
It is such an interesting story because, like you said, Isles has been around for a very, very long time, but he has been on perennially teams that finish at the bottom of the standings, and people, it's difficult to judge how good is an individual if you're on a team that always loses, right? It's really hard to see, especially if you're not in the games, you're not in the scrims and in the comms. And Isles got a really good chance to join a pretty star-studded roster. You know, both Berserker and Inspired have been MVPs. Saint was obviously a really high prospect. And to see him get this chance and really make the most of it, I think is such a cool story, because it's not often that players very late in their career do get a chance to kind of change the trajectory of their career.
Yeah, it's incredibly interesting to see. And again, I'm hoping that now we can see him kind of open up that next page on the Camille. Is already nice engage on towards JoJo. Does get flicked back, but don't think you have like a huge amount of consistent damage here until you hit that level 2. But still a decent trade back from Fury.
Yeah, not bad at all. Isles, a little bit worse for wear off the back of that. You can see Dokla feeling like he's going to be on the back end of this trade. Interesting tech. He is going lethal tempo. So I have seen more lethal tempo Gnar, but generally into Sion and Ornn and, you know, some of these types of champions. Maybe he feels that in the team fights, he's going to be getting ignored, and you're going to be going for Berserker, you're going to be going for backline, and he's going to need that consistent damage. As Isles goes in, does utilize that passive shield, but takes quite a bit of damage on the back end of that trade. Still, Berserker first to level 2. LYON have the push as expected, and Isles can start to try to move around the map here and threaten a little bit.
Yeah, you can already see the vision control is down despite it all. There's one there in Banana Brush, even over by Raptors, and Toots is just playing towards that top side of the map, making sure that he's going to be fine. So I think it's going to be a difficult play here for Oz to really find anything.
Yeah, it can be tough for sure. Nice sidesteps by Gigo a couple times in a row, as this is Inspired's time in North America. He has been a player that is really taking over in this region. Came in as Saint, looking for more. I think he's out of damage, so we can go back to talking about Inspired. But he has joined now 3 different rosters, from EG to FlyQuest to LYON, who had not won in the league. It's not like you're coming in, you're joining Team Liquid, who's won a bunch of championships, and then you keep winning. He's coming in and he's joining orgs who had never won in the league, and then making them the winner. And that is why, you know, I kind of started to pose the question when we were going into finals. How far does he have to go to become the NA GOAT potentially? As Isles is actually only level 2 here, and he's stuck in the miasma, and it's looking like he is just dead for free. Stepped out of lane to try to threaten a roam. Down in experience, gets caught there on the engage in the miasma, and gives over an easy one to Ayu. That's a rough look.
That is a roughie. Completely just caught out, and like this was kind of the big conversation. What would the Camille look like for Isles? And not looking comfortable from the get-go. Immediately a kill, the one kill already going over towards Ayu. And this is the first time we've seen Ayu pick up the Cassiopeia. But if you are already off to a run like this with an early tier, this is perfect.
Absolutely is. Inspired looking to try to double scuttle here, but JoJo is first there, and the scuttle's going to be grabbed by Inspired, so he does pull it off. Berserker now moving up. There's a lot of people converging in this area, as Berserker now in a pretty awkward spot, to be honest, and Isles is going to have to run for it. Still level 2. Getting pushed back by Ayu. Has not been able to pick up any experience, and LYON is kind of getting pincered right now. JoJo could look for Isles. He has no hook shot. Berserker fighting on the side against Ayu. As in comes Saint. There's battles on either side. Saint getting pushed back by Toots. Inspired going to have to clone away. Good dodge there. Now hook shots in. Stuns Tatu. Crash down, though, onto Isles. Has to run for it. Still level 2, mind you. Burning. And it's the flash in from Toots to finish him off. Isles is looking like an easy kill so far in this second game. Inspired goes back in, working on JoJo. Ayu incredibly low on that bot side. The flash has been forced from Berserker. Ayu still has his. Berserker will push him back, but won't be able to get that kill.
LYON just overcommit to try and defend their jungle. Fury were just in a significantly better position. They'd already pushed off Berserker. They were able to wrap in towards the Raptor camp, and Isles ends up giving his life for it. And as you say, he's still level 2. So you're only getting back into lane, and yeah, it's a disaster for the Camille supporters.
Really, really tough, right? You know, you give up an easy kill that you shouldn't have given when you had push on bot side. Then JoJo is roaming, so you feel like, hey, I'm the Camille, I got to be roaming too. I got to match. As Gigo in a little bit of trouble here, does use the Drakehound step to absorb that proc of the hyper there from Dokla. So is missing his flash here, as both top laners trying to push for level 6. Will be Dokla getting that level 6 here faster, I think, but Gigo actually gets it off the minion that dies there, and now Dokla's got to be careful. Does get up to level 6 here, and probably will just be looking for a reset, as Isles now level 3 and going to be looking for a Toots, potentially. Does push him back there, as he just hops away to safety, knowing he has no flash.
I was going to say, it's a brave move as well, because there isn't really the vision to spot out where Tatu was, and I think if you committed to that fight, more than happy to come over the wall and ruin that play. So I do think kind of LYON needs to take it a little bit slower, try and spot out. where Tattoo is, get the vision to figure out a game plan before fully committing to this.
Yeah, it can be tough for sure. Early game not really going the way that they were hoping, but same can kind of be said at times in the last game, and LYON were able to fight back and stabilize. So we'll see if Isles can do that. The 2 early kills, obviously both on him. Everything else pretty even when you're looking across the board. It's just IU really with that first blood gold that is kind of separating those 2 bot laners. And Saint, thankfully, has a CS advantage that is keeping him pretty close to Toots.
Jojo trying to get in behind Berserker here. They're waiting for him to step up because that wave is pushing away from them. But with now the Camille showing on mid and getting the push, they're going to move down towards bot side.
Public execution used there just to escape as Dokla has the lethal tempo stacked, and Gigo's got to leave. So Dokla doesn't spend his ult, gets the ult off of Gigo there, and a really nice trade post-teleport, which is always an important time here in these 1v1s. If you can get a good chunk, force them to take a tough base, you can sometimes get a couple plates there and really build an advantage. As Tatu, again, looking for the invade here. He's level 6, Inspired, gets the smite, gets a level 6 of his own. Saint is around, has that ultimate available to join, but Jojo had first move, now being matched by Isles. Both supports level 3. Tactical sweep going to miss here. Tatu charging up that vault breaker, decides, you know what, it's not worth fighting here.
Jojo has spent so much time in the Tribrush trying to see if he can get that flank on the Berserker that he hasn't really got any of the levels himself, actually sitting behind Isles when it comes towards the experience. But Isles stepping forward.
Isles stepping forward, and Isles going to be another kill there. As Tatu spends the ulti, does knock him down, has to pull off the Dragon to do it. Dragon will reset, but it is the 3rd kill of the game for Furia and the 3rd death there for Isles as he was scrapping with Jojo, but not respecting the fact that Tatu could still be in the area.
Yeah, I just don't know what the game plan was for us. Like, your jungler had already pulled off, you're level 3, you know that Tatu's 6, and ends up just giving across a kill. So Tatu going to pick up a bit of gold off the back of that for free. And again, continue to march around the map. I think at this stage, you kind of need Inspired to link up with Oz a little bit on these plays, but still the Camille level 3 kind of makes her so vulnerable now whenever she tries to make these plays.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking over at a level 7 Aurora, at a level 6 Tatu, a level 8 Gigo. The level 3 Camille is not feeling very threatening. I mean,
not the deadliest.
It's great that the bot lane players can soak up that experience, but at the same time, you do need to get some levels eventually. Both of these supports, though, are still sitting in that same point, and Isles is still ahead in experience, so even though he's dying, he's honestly not worth a lot of kill gold, so it's not the end of the world. Jojo here was expecting a dive and looking to match, but Tatu going to jump into the pit on this red buff. Sweeper does spot Isles and Saint in the area, as Inspire will claim all 3 of these grubs, which is quite nice when you have a potential pushing side lane with the Gnar, and also this Ziggs who wants to hit towers.
And now Fury have to try and cover for this top dodge. Jojo going to be able to get there, but again, only level 3. Needs to be careful.
Gnar into the wall, great buffer, but in comes the Ziggs ult. A well-played dive here is going to be set up by Isles. Dokla jumps forward, grabs a second, and in comes Saint. The satchel knocking him back into the ult there from Saint. And Tatu flashes forward, looking for Dokla. Will be able to get it. Isles and Berserker in the area. IU has arrived. Looks like the fighting may dissipate. Inspired baiting with the clone there. Toots thought he was running into a clone, but he was running into Inspired as Tatu is back on the Krugs, and it means that the Aurora has to flash out to safety here. LYON win out on that play. Nicely done.
Especially getting the TP from IU, because IU had pushed in on that bottom side, could have looked for plates, and maybe that could have been the advantage that Fury were able to gain off the back of that. But by investing in it, he comes up, sure, he gets involved with the play, but it means that LYON still come out with that kill advantage.
And Berserker performing pretty well there. Good ultimate, and I really like the satchel interrupting Tatu, knocking it back into that Galio ult.
Yeah, we get to see it here. So Guigo, you can already see multiple members of Fury trying to get into position, use the ultimate to try and interrupt on the CC, but there's so much damage that comes through. Jojo basically taken out as Dokla flashes in to secure this kill. This is what you're talking about, right? The satchel to knock the vibe back in, so Tatu ends up getting caught. He goes down, and there's just Dokla who ends up falling into place. So honestly, for LYON, I think you're going to be very happy with the way that one panned out.
Absolutely are. As you said, got the TP, got more summoners, and did get the additional gold. Only 2 plates remaining on that top lane tower. First tower gold, excuse me, is up and available. You have 3 grubs, you have a Ziggs, so if they can get access to that tower, it could go down in a hurry. But it's got to be respectful, knowing that he has no flash and no ultimate is pretty vulnerable.
Also, a ton of vision on this top side for LYON, basically spotting out wherever Tatu's going to go. And as you say, you've already positioned the Ziggs in that top side to try and get the tier 1. So Tatu as soon as he is not spotted on these wards on the top side, I think that's where the focus is going to come from line. But you can already see Jojo spotted out, doesn't get the interrupt. But will mean Berserker has to take a couple of steps back.
Yeah, Berserker will back up, but he is aware of the fact that Jojo is coming in. So he threw that pink ward down and obviously was spotted on the recall as well. So both supports matching each other on the top side. Now Dokla trying to get some damage down here onto Ayu, but not liking what happens when he goes for a trade there. You rush steel caps and now you're landing against a Casio, which is not a very comfortable position to be in. But Isles now moving down. They're looking for a potential setup, but Tatu is in the area as well, and Dokla's already low. This likely is going to go bad here for Lion if they commit to the play.
Dokla gets the stun.
Gets the stun, does scoop him into the wall, flashes back, but in comes Tatu, and Tatu should surely finish the job. The teleport going to be in here to answer. So it's on the side, chunking out Isles, and Isles is going to have to just run for the hills. They do get the TP from Gigo, which really wasn't needed, because now you're giving up mid lane and top lane. That's going to be first tower gold for Lion. So even though Furia got the kill, really not worth it. Kind of overcommitting there with that teleport.
Yeah, especially because you'd already forced Berserker away from the top side. He used the ultimate to clear the wave, but had lost some of that CS in to the tower. So you would have lost Berserker gold and then get the kill on bot, and then you would have been able to keep that pressure. But now you lose the top tower, you got the plates in mid, and suddenly, even though you got that return kill, it's not quite as valuable as you would have liked.
Absolutely is not. A couple of ultimates spent, the teleport spent, but Gigo clearly thought it was about to go down.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can respect him for having his homies back.
I mean, after the last game, you kind of expect it to go down all the time. But, I mean, Dokla gets the stun here, but just doesn't have enough damage in the tank. Sees that he's got both his jungle and support coming, but it just wasn't expecting Tatu to be able to get there. The auto attack as well from Inspired means that Tatu's able to get the kill before the Cyclone comes through. But now we're back on towards the mid lane. It's just Dragon about to spawn. And Tatu doesn't have his ult available. Neither does Ayu. So I think Line trying to see if they can find that timing window, but they're down a few ults themselves.
Yeah, we'll see. Isles is trying to soak experience to get 6. He's very close to it, so he will get it on this wave. Jojo a full level away from 6. Ayu does have that Rylai's, which is going to be super nice against all of these melee champions, all these short-range champions. When Nar goes Mega, 4 of your 5 are melees against an early Rylai's here on Ayu. Inspired waiting for the Cyclone. Isles does get 6, so they will have that ultimate advantage. Pretty big that Jojo is down that level, because now you can look for the Gallywalt, the Zigzal, everything to follow up. And Isles, even if he just is kind of that one-way trip, it's going to be a good trip.
And I do think that's kind of the mistake that we've seen from Jojo. When Isles was falling down and going 0-3, wasn't soaking experience, was trying to see if he could make plays or at least hide off the map, but it means that now he is down. So Line with Isles in position. You have Gigo starting to move down, though.
Yeah, Gigo is moving. He has no TP. Dokla does have his teleport, but we'll see if he's actually going to use it. Isles going to be jumped on. Inspired should be able to just clone to safety. So another move that is going to be a bit of wasted time there is Gigo, again, thought there was going to be a fight, but just kind of getting over-eager. Lets Dokla push in the wave top. He's probably going to take away the Krugs. You're just bleeding gold.
And Dokla had gone Mega Gnar, so I think Fury were like, oh, maybe this is our chance. We can actually try and find the play. But instead, late to the party, Dragon goes down, you get those resets, and again, Lion just finding these small little timing windows as Saint. Great trade onto Tuts.
Yeah, and gonna try to look to be able to run him down here. Don't think he has the damage to kill, but does push him back, and he has rushed the Abyssal Mask, which I know a lot of people don't love it when it's solo AP, but this is a team with Ziggs as well. So I think it is quite valuable in a situation like this, especially when there's both a Casio and Aurora. You're getting value on both sides.
They're also getting so much value from the Ziggs in general, right? Like, he's pushing at the Cassiopeia mid lane. There's only 3 turret plates there. That satchel charge will very quickly take that down. And now, because you got that trade into Tuts, you're very quickly taking the spot lane tower. And Dokla maybe set up for a dive here, but he's about to go Mega, so Furia can't really do much.
Yeah, with just 2 members and him under the tower in Mega, it would be wildly risky. I think maybe if you have 3 or 4, you can overwhelm them, but they did not have that in position. And this game, feeling like Furia's getting run around the map a little bit.
Big time.
I felt like they were playing the map really, really well last game, but it feels as though they fell behind on 1 or 2 plays, and now they're feeling pressure to kind of make up for that. And then so they're always trying to show up to the next play. And Lion is saying, great, you go there. I'm going to keep hitting minions. I'm going to keep going for towers.
But it is also kind of these individual moments where, like, Saint just get that trade on towards Tuts that then sets up for the bot lane trade. This Ziggs Cassiopeia matchup, despite the early kill, hasn't quite gone as they would have liked, with Berserker constantly been able to push in and get into positions on the top side to get that tower as well. And now we're committed to the Rift Herald.
Yeah, they're going for it. The Herald is already gone, but can they get the fight? Gigo is the one being focused down. Isles going to get burst out, though. The first kill goes the other way. In comes the Galio ultimate, knocking up multiple members. Dokla about to mega out as LYON wants to get more. It's 1-0, though, for Furia and the Herald as LYON show up too late and get nada.
Yeah, way too late. They tried to get in, but the turnaround play, and with IU in a good position, that was a perfect fight for Furia and almost reminiscent of game 1 with some of these objective setups.
Absolutely was. They got the flash off Gigo and Tatu, so that is your very small reward. But Tatu does survive, gets the Herald before the fight even starts, and then is able to grab the Herald and get out. So that could lead to the first tower of the game there for Furia, which would be nice for them. You really want to keep Ziggs in an uncomfortable position. So if you could take away that mid lane tower, it could be nice, but they are looking potentially here for Gigo. No one from Furia in the area going to go for it. Gigo does get stunned up by the hook shot and looks like he will be getting ran down. Has no flash, has no ult. And it's just a one-way ticket back home.
Nice job by LYON to find there. I was just roaming down to the bottom side, realizing that Gigo stuck around a bit too long after the objective. And it does mean now LYON get some control on this bot side river, get the vision down. May need to start to shift people up towards this top side, though, because you can see both Tatu and Tuds trying to see if they can take down that low health tower. Don't have a wave quite yet to do so, though.
This is interesting. Gigo actually rushed the Endless Hunger there. So pretty atypical build. Saint is going to be able to hold on to this tower. Tatu, of course, if he wants to drop the Herald, they can get the kill. And not going to elect to do that just yet. Would love to save it for that mid lane tower, but the mid lane tower does still have all 5 plates. And Ziggs is kind of just posted up, chilling, farming. And I think Ox is going to be pretty happy with the Ziggs build because there's no defensive items just yet. Yeah. Ox is a big believer that you need to stand in the right place and then buy the items to do the damage.
Well, I think Berserker are in the right place, and honestly, so are LYON, right? Like, I think this team works incredibly mid. You have 2 strong side lanes, especially with that lethal tempo on the Gnar, and just try and play through that strength. And you've got a 1k gold lead on Dokla, but Inspired's cost.
Yeah, they're going in on Inspired. They're going to try to burst him down. The Cyclone counter engage is very good as Jojo tries to flash away. Inspired will fall. Isles in trouble. He's dead now, too. Dokla has Mega, but he's probably going to have to run. Here comes the Galio ultimate. Does arrive, but connects on no one. Berserker fighting as best as he can, but Gigo's going to take Dokla, who flashes out very late. This fight is a disaster for LYON. Saint flashes out, but he can't get away either. The Rylai's is doing so much work as Furia chased down for kill after kill after kill.
Furia find that pocket of vision and make the play work. The pick onto Inspired, right as we were saying, LYON are in a good spot to set up for this 1-3-1, but they play just in this small little spot. They have the Cassiopeia that comes around and Inspired gets caught, gets jumped on, and there's the double TP immediately from Furia that sets up for this play. As you've got this Galio that's still trying to run down from the top side, doesn't have the teleport, only now gets a range for the ultimate, but this fight is done and dusted at this stage.
I mean, the thing that really hurts for LYON is not only did so many of them flash, but 3 of them flashed in a row as they were dying, when they're really, really low. So now you don't have that for the initial setup again, as we got to go back to live because it is Furia over on this dragon. Will the fight be breaking out? It looks like LYON are in the area, but deciding, you know what, we can't fight this. Instead, it is just going to be another kill onto Isles as he takes his 6th death of the game. Has been a tough one for Isles on his Camille debut.
Yeah, sometimes trying to adapt to the meta doesn't go your way, and I think we're seeing that a little bit for Isles in this one. Hasn't quite been able to find that success, and again, like, I think LYON had their moment there, but the Furia finding the pick, now starting to get towards dragons, you're getting towards 2 items on towards this Cassiopeia, and even Gigo picking up a double kill in the last fight has kind of flipped the script on some of that side lane matchup as well, accelerating him towards some good items. I think for Furia, much more comfortable now to continue to play towards these objectives.
Completely agree. I mean, LYON was in a pretty darn good spot prior to that fight, but losing the fight, losing the dragon, losing the summoners, and then losing another free kill from Isles off the back of it was definitely a bit tough for their chances in this game. Still, all that being said, it is just the 1 dragon lead, and we're basically dead even in the gold. The real concern is just, will Isles ever be able to get that value, given that he's so far behind and he is so squishy? Of course, you can always look for a hook shot and an ultimate. Maybe that's just all you need with the fact that you have the Ziggs, you have the Galio, you have all these extra tools on your team.
It's just the survivability is the biggest problem, I think, because if you die, the Hextech Ultimatum disappears, and you've got a 3-kill Cassiopeia that's got so many levels on you on the opposite side. Same when you look towards Tuts. Like, it does become a little bit difficult. I think it has to be, as you say, that like quick 1-2 punch up, the immediate Gallo ultimate, the immediate ult from Berserker, in the hopes that you can make it happen. But it needs to be a pick. I think in fights, Isles is just... Ooh, actually, I was about to say Tattoo. Might have been a bit of trouble, but yeah, if Isles is kind of in the middle of a team fight, I just don't think he survives before he goes down.
Time to see how good AP Camille is. We're going to need his Zonius.
Yeah. I was like, how expensive is GA these days? You know?
Saint maybe in some trouble here in the side lane. Remember, he has no flash, looking like he's going to get chased down. 4 members up here on the top side. Inspired was moving up to see if he could cover, but then they realized there's way too many, and now it is potentially a Baron start here for Furia if they want to risk it. Would be pretty tough, though, with Berserker still very strong. So instead, they decide, you know what, let's just play for some other more minor objectives. See if we can steal away some camps. And Inspired has cleared out that side of the map, so not really going to be able to get much more than just the tower top and the kill.
Still, though, they are still keeping a lot of their side lane is in check, right? Like, obviously, top tower, but you end up moving Gigo down to cover that bot push from Dokla. That mid lane tower still stands, which is probably the most shocking point for me for LYON. Like, I expected that to be the focal point, especially with the Ziggs being able to take it so quickly. But they just haven't been able to establish themselves successfully in the side lanes to now move that pressure to the mid lane. And we're 2 minutes out now from this next Cloud Dragon. You're starting to get those second item completions coming through for the mid laner as well for Furia. This is going to be a very tough scrap, and there's not really much pressure on the map that LYON can create right now.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough one for sure. So much comes down to the engage, right? You've opted into this very squishy, very fragile Camille. Rel on the other side, a lot easier to play. You kind of just go in, and it's just a lot easier to survive and still kind of have that similar value. I feel like if LYON don't get that first punch, get that first kill right off the bat, it's going to be tough for them to win.
And I think that's why I love the Observer showing here just how dark the map is for LYON, because it does become very tough when you're getting pushed first.
Yeah, Saint going to lose half his health there. Should be able to walk this one out, I think, but instead they're going to go across the veil. They're popping all of the ultimates to knock him down. Inspired looking for the counter engages. Everyone shows up. Gigo is there. Berserker is trying to get involved here, but this fight is all Furia all the time. Back-to-back kills, and no one on Furia really threatened besides Tatu. So surely now they will be starting up the Baron. They're going to pull it. They don't have their jungler just yet, but he is sprinting back out from base. Ziggs has no ult. Neither does the Wukong. I'm not sure they can really even approach, but they're going to try to see if they can look for a steal here. Isles get some vision on it. Tatu is now back, and Inspired going to find that out with a fist to the face. Toots getting chunked down here by Berserker. Isles flashes in, drops the ultimatum, but I don't know if they have the damage. They do get a shutdown, and now it's going to be a bit of madness here as Furia has to run. The teleport coming back, and Furia thought it was their moment. Tatu still trying to see if he can claim this Baron, staying around, looking for the smite fight. He's into the pit, but it's going to be claimed by Inspired, and Tatu is going to pay the iron price for the attempt at the steal.
Tuts takes a step too far forward, and immediately LYON punish. This could have been their moment, but instead it's that purple aura surrounding the NA representative. As here, great pick on towards Saint. And you can see how much damage they're able to come through. Furia played slow. They wait for Tuts to get his cooldowns back up, and that combo able to come through. But it's the Wombo combo that's a bit more womp here for LYON, as they're not able to really find that success with Berserker's ultimate, and Furia get the pick. But it's afterwards, as they step up into the space, that it ends up causing them issues. Tuts here immediately jumped on by Isles. Furia tried to turn, but there's so much damage from Berserker, but he's able to sit and just whack you away with these bombs.
I mean, people think you pick Camille for the early game for the roaming. Nah, you pick it for the 24-minute Baron fight. That's really where it power spikes in my experience. It's an easy mistake to make, though. You know. Yeah. Well, and then Tatu goes in, it tries to steal it away, but that's costly for Furia. You know, they had a really good play and just weren't quite able to pull it off. I think if Toots doesn't get caught there, if he just plays it a little bit further back, Tatu is back, and they can probably just focus the Baron and then just try to run.
To be fair, though, I also want to give a shout out to Berserker, because this Ziggs has been really, really good. The ultimate didn't really land because didn't have the setup alongside Isles there, but either way, like, the satchel charges have been great. His zone with the E has been fantastic. And you can see the total damage there. He is doing work in this game.
Yep, him and Toots on the other side, who did get shut down in that fight, but 5-1-5, very strong still here on the Aurora. And Berserker obviously has been great throughout most of this game. Now does have the Seekers, and he can sit on that, maybe go towards the Death Cap if he doesn't need it. And if you do, obviously you upgrade that into the Zonias, because now he's very difficult to burst down. Obviously, he was always so squishy. But if Vi ults, if everyone sends it, well, that's what the Seekers is for. You're trying to stay safe in that way. They're going to send it again on to Saint. Saint very far up, and Saint has no chance, no ability to respond to that one from LYON either. Saint been getting picked off. Furia just constantly punishing this Galio, who's positioning too confidently.
Yeah, especially as LYON had just gone for the reset. We saw Dokla going for that recall in bot lane, and Furia using that timing window to get the pick on mid. And it's, as you say, these small little missteps that are going back and forth on either side that are giving the teams a window back into this game.
It does feel like a little bit of that kind of first match nerves here.
Yeah.
Inspired going to find JoJo, will get hit by the Shattering Strike, but Isles and Dokla are moving in. Berserker's coming up as well. They want to keep them involved. They're going to try to turn, though. They're trying to burst down Dokla before he can get the Mega. The ultimatum comes back. Great satchel from Berserker. Knocks Tatu back to his base. It's a double for Inspired, and LYON want more. They are hunting through the bushes. They spot Toots. Good sidestep there from Isles. The hook shot connects. He goes between worlds. He's trying to run for the hills, but he's on the wrong side of the map. Dokla's about to mega out. Won't be able to burst him down just yet. The Steric's going to get popped. He's kiting. He is threatening here. Hook shot back up, and now they get the kill. 3 go the way of LYON, and it's starting to feel like maybe they're getting control.
LYON are collapsing faster in these plays. Berserker able to get far more value by moving up through that mid lane. And this was one of the big things we talked about, that push between the Ziggs and the Cassiopeia. It is enabling LYON to make it to these side lanes quicker. And it's exactly what turned that play in favor of LYON.
Well done there by LYON. You know, they knew that Tatu, Gigo had spent their cooldowns to kill off Saint earlier, and now we check in on the Coinbase gold grind. Berserker only has 4 games of Ziggs in his career, had yet to get a win, but is doing really, really well, farming well, playing in the fights well, positioning well. I'm impressed by Berserker. Yep. This is something that I wasn't sure how he was going to perform, and he's building that confidence for me.
Yeah, this has been a fantastic game for the Ziggs. And especially, as you say, like, I think then opens up a lot more in that bottom side of the map, even as you start to draft in towards the later portion of the tournament, which is fantastic. Camille, not certain on, not to be paired alongside it, I will say. But Isles has been much better as we've got in towards the later portion of the game and some of these engages. So I do think I want to just see that link up between Isles and Berserker on the ulti combo. This is one of the main reasons why you do take it, but they've been a bit desynced, sure, because a bit of the chaos that Fury have been throwing their direction. But now, LYON, this is where you have that same level of control. You've got your side lanes in a good spot. You can start to try and push out, try and play for those collapses on towards the mid lane, play for that push out towards these objectives that are spawning just over a minute.
You can see double Seekers there for Saint and Berserker. Now Berserker is level 16, and he's got himself a nice hat. And that means the ultimate is terrifying, because if you connect on really anyone on the other side, not like Ayu has Zonias, not like Toots has Zonias, all of these guys are very vulnerable. If you get locked into Camille ult, Galio ult, Ziggs ult, you're dead.
Also, the Imperial Mandate for Saint, kind of with the changes to Imperial Mandate, insane on the Galio. Cool down on any of your CC abilities, very strong for a champion that has a lot of CC built into the kit. But here's the setup. Furia already trying to establish themselves, and it's that Tatu Gigo combo we want to look at.
Yeah, Niall's going to be looking here. Gigo forced a flash. Ayu on the side, trying to defend his top laner. Will do so successfully. Isles is put relatively low. Gigo held onto the ult, but loses the flash. We'll see if Isles wants to go for a reset, or if they just want to fight with the HP they have now. Toots trying to chunk him out. Tatu on the side was looking to threaten, as Dokla is going to have to build back up that Narbar. You can see Gigo just went back to base, has the teleport and the ultimate available, and Isles is going to be caught on the side, interrupted on the hook shot, and he is just food for Furia. Tries to flank, but gets spotted and punished, and that is a big-time kill. Dokla moving back over, has no Narbar whatsoever to speak of. It will just be the third dragon for either side, but Inspired wants to fight for it. He is going in behind. Toots is going to spend the ult on Dokla. Dokla needs time to base potentially and go back, but Inspired wants to fight right now. Here they go. The Ziggs ult comes through. Berserker goes on a rampage as Saint dropped from the sky, but Inspired drops from the map. He's taken out. This should be the dragon going to Tatu. is going to be able to claim it and move themselves to soul point.
JoJo with an insane interrupt on Inspired's engage, just clipped him with the ultimate that then set up for IU to burst him down with that petrifying gaze. That 1-2 combo may have just saved that fight for Furia. Insanely close stuff, though.
Really, really close. And had Isles been there to actually set up for the fight, it's a completely different look. But he wanted to go on the flank. I'm not sure where he thought they even were.
Now walking across vision as well. Like this was way too far from Oz. Immediately burst out. But watch as this fight starts to kick off, because Inspired obviously looking to see if he can get that flank opportunity. You're getting some decent poke down onto Dokkan on the top side. But as Inspired goes in, watch for JoJo's ultimate in just a moment as he dies. Just clips onto Inspired here, which then sets up for IU to get the petrifying gaze, buy that space that they need. And it's Fury then were able to kite back out of that initial setup. That would have been devastating if that Wukong got the ultimate off.
I mean, it's a great catch. The whole team got involved. He got hit by the public execution, by the petrifying gaze, by the Rel ultimate. Everything hit on him. Inspired, it definitely felt like he really wanted that fight. But I mean, Dokkan was chunked low. You know, he had TP. They could have tried to slow played it and just kind of go for something else, but felt there was still an angle to win there, even with Dokkan low, even with Isles dead. And you have to respect the vision that he had there. Just didn't quite work out because Furia were equal to the task, denied him from even getting that Cyclone off, as you're calling.
It makes it very tough to try and play out these fights. And again, we're kind of seeing like LYON want to line up this wombo combo, but it just hasn't been able to come to fruition just yet. It's been more about these side lane picks and plays that they've found that success through. And kind of looks like that's what they're going to fall back towards here as well. Setting up this vision on the bottom side. Isles also in position as they look towards Tuts.
I mean, two of the key parts of the combo, we're going to see them going up to Tuts, and he's just dead, and he just completed his death cap. IU coming over here to try to back him up, but I don't know that there's an angle to even go for anything back off of this.
Well, I mean, it does at least buy some space. Still going to look towards that mid lane tower. I think as Zeke's in this sort of position against the Cassiopeia, going to be happy to take pop shots with the bombs at the Cassiopeia, but LYON, not, as you say, in a position to really step up here. Don't want to commit. They're just going to go over towards the Baron instead.
Yep, they got to start the Baron here. We'll see if they're going to be able to pull this off. Tuts will have TP when he is up, but it is still going to be 25 seconds. Not the fastest Baron, though, for LYON at all. Dokla is tanking it for the team, but he's taking quite a bit of damage. He megas out now, and I think they're realizing, you know what, this just isn't realistically going to work.
Yeah, it looked like a bit of a mixed call because Inspired was on the bottom side of the map, wasn't able to reconnect to the team because Fury cut him off in the mid lane, and then with the Mega Gnar already burnt by Dokla, I don't think you really have the ability to turn on the fight either, so they have to back away. So it's a pick, but nothing more.
Exactly, and it is still Furia, down a couple thousand gold, but on the other side of that, they are the ones on Soul Point. They have wards in this area, so I don't think they're going to be able to really sneak anything. And even if LYON are in a pretty good spot, hey, you lose one smite on the next dragon, that's Soul going the way of Furia, which is a very powerful Soul this game, I feel like, on both sides with all of these melee champions, all of this.
Didn't matter in the last game,
mobility. That's true. Uh-oh.
Isles?
Seen this one before as Gigo is hunting for him. Dokla trying to get involved, but down comes Tatu. Isles kiting it out. LYON has the first move. The TP going to be coming in, and nice sidestep there from Isles, but is the hook shot back up? He's going to go back in. Dokla now trying to buy time, build that Narbar. Berserker, Saint, Inspired, everyone coming in to reinforce. Dokla about to mega out, but they're going to try to just one-shot him, but he gets into the mega, he stuns into the wall, the Zigzag lands, and the damage is coming through from LYON. Inspired to the backline, trying to survive, but he can't quite do it. It's IU crushing them. It's Berserker, the only one who can deal damage from this spot. Flashback in, multi-man top. They burst down Tuts, but IU is rocking this fight. It's a double for Berserker. Saint goes back in with his dying breath, but Berserker is out of mana, and LYON cannot get more. It is a bloodbath in the bot lane, but we're seeing Cassio shine in these extended fights.
The AP carries are trying to do so much work as JoJo, he steps up, but does he go down? No.
Well, Tatu is coming in behind him, and they have got to be careful from this spot. They're delaying the base because the dragon is spawning here in 30, so pretty critical buying of time there, but JoJo's still got to go back to base. IU still got to go back to base as well.
But IU getting so much gold in that last fight, has the teleport to get back out, and it's that consistent damage of the Cassiopeia that makes the difference, because everyone jumps on towards Dokla here, but that's perfect for LYON with that combo that we talked about. Berserker getting a ton of damage off of the ultimate. Inspire goes into the backline to try and buy the space, but IU's damage is absurd right now. And even here, Saint thinks maybe we can buy that little bit here as he flashes back in, and it does get a kill, but it's Berserker starting to run out of mana, whereas IU is firing on all cylinders, pop shots everywhere is line, now in front of this Dragon, TP in, and it looks like JoJo might be caught.
Yeah, IU is really low as well. IU just got chunked out there by Berserker, and IU's trying to go back to base. The question is, does he have the teleport to rejoin once again? Completes the recall here. Dokla charging up that Narbar, and IU does have the TP. It's going to be spotted here. Toots looking for a potential flank here as Isles trying to set up. They do not see Toots whatsoever, and he could one-shot Berserker if he gets in. But Tatu goes early. Tatu gets taunted. Berserker into the stasis, trying to stay alive as Doka's in the backline. IU trying to cut it out. Here comes Gigo. He wants Berserker, but he can't find him just yet. In comes Sang with the hero's entrance. They're trying to chase for IU. They want JoJo. They want so much more. But the question is, can they actually lock him down and knock him down? JoJo's going to fall. IU gets hunted up. Here comes Inspire, but he's stuck in the miasma. He's got a kite. Saint will be able to seal the deal. They get the kills. They get the dragon. They control the map. And Lions show up big in the late game.
Lion laser focus onto Tattoo on the play. Prevent that 1-2 punch with the mid laner. And just like that, they want to start marching down this bottom lane. The death timers not that high for Tattoo and Toots. This is just, I feel like, going to be the take on the inhibitor on a reset.
Yeah, we'll see how much they want to go for it. They're positioning to try to end the game, and they feel that there is an angle. Tatu's up in 5, Toots is up in 7, but Berserker is low with no Zonias. The first tower gets one shot, but Berserker has to be careful. Tatu just going to flash through the team. Look to one-shot Berserker, but he can't do it. Toots misses everything. He goes in for Berserker, and he pays the price as Berserker blows him away. Lions, though, have no wave, and they won't be able to close it just yet. They can go mid and look for more.
Gigo has that public execution up and available, and there are very low health bars here. JoJo, the flash ultimate could be enough, but Dokla needs to be so careful. They don't want to give across more. Baron's up if they go down here.
Yeah, he's got to run. The boomerang's slow, but he gets connected on. Look at Isles coming in from behind, and the hero's entrance. IU into the Zonias, though, buying some time. Dokla goes mega, stuns him into the wall, and IU has fallen. And with that, maybe the hopes of Furia. Gigo takes a couple to the grave with him, though, as JoJo is on the run. Berserker has returned, and Berserker is big man on campus. A full 6-item Ziggs means this game is over. Lion battling back and forth with Furia, taking us to match point.
This series is insane. So back and forth. Both teams throwing everything they have, but by some miracle, Lion are sitting 2-0 against Furia.
Berserker with an incredible Ziggs performance. I was doubting, but I have been converted. Desk, what do you think?
Oh, I think that for Furia, they'll be kicking themselves over the head.
That's very, very scary. So, you know, there's always going to be, regardless of how the series go, that introspection. You have to look and say, okay, well, what can we improve? What are we doing wrong? And I do feel like Lion are kind of showing maybe some nerves or maybe just some sloppy play, whatever you want to call it. You know, a lot of pickoffs, you know, from either side, it felt like, you know, Saint getting picked off a lot before the fights. Isles getting picked off a lot from before the fights. And we saw the same thing kind of happen to Furia too.
And I do think that is kind of it feels like they're trying to shift the identity towards more what we're seeing in the meta, right? This faster gameplay and kind of adapt to that, but haven't quite got the nuts and bolts in the right place just yet. So we'll have to see if that is the same plan coming into game 3 now, or if they do end up going back towards what has been their style, more domestic, the slow pace, keep files in lane, try and keep control of the early stages, and if Furia can kind of blow that plan out of the water.
Yep, and be difficult, you know, as you say, when you're trying to adapt to different styles, different metas. And also, when you go international and you play against the top LPL and LCK teams, it can be really hard in scrims, right? And that can sometimes make people doubt whether they're playing or change their styles. Why are we losing? Do we need to go to different champions? Do we need to do different play styles? Do we need to, you know, completely rethink how we're playing the game? And I feel like sometimes when people are shifting a lot of things, they can lose sight of the basics where they're normally really, really good. And I feel like that has happened to Lion at times in this series, where when I think of Lion, I think of them as being a team fight team. Their setups are always really good. And at times they've been pretty sloppy here, where they get caught, you know, pushing out a wave too deep right before the dragon, or they're not having vision or thinking about the flank. And those are some of the basics that I would not expect them to really be messing up. So maybe, you know, getting a little bit too focused on the more complex things and losing sight of some of the basics.
Going to be going towards that Lucian Milio in the bottom lane against the Varus, which we assume is going down towards Berserker. But it's still a very strong matchup. 66% win rate over the course of 3 games that we've seen from LYON and JoJo on this. So definitely something they are comfortable with. And I'm expecting to see them try and play heavily around this in the mid game.
And it's something that actually hasn't lost a single game so far at MSI. Every Lucian pick has won. Of course, it doesn't guarantee anything here. Berserker definitely comfortable on the Varus as well. And I do think I'm much more preferring a lot of the on-hit Varus that we're seeing these days instead of the lethality. Lethality obviously has just been nerfed so much. On-hit has been nerfed a little bit, but it still feels way more viable. That being said, it is pretty tough, I feel like, to play into Lucian Milio if you are playing on-hit. So I wonder if they might kind of decide, you know what, we'll just kind of sacrifice a little bit of the late game power and just try to get through the lane.
It also just depends a lot on how much time is on the opposite side, because sometimes it just feels like the on-hit Varus doesn't get a chance to auto-attack against some of the enemy comps. But okay, Lee Sin for Inspire, not what I was thinking, to be honest. Like, Inspired, I look more towards like the Xin Zhaos, the Nocturnes, the Wukongs. Lee Sin hasn't even been played this bit.
No, he hasn't at all. But it is something he's played, a fair bit in his career. He does have 31 games on it. And I will say, it's not what I associate most of them, but what I do associate with Inspired is the meta. And if he thinks that it is in the meta, he's going to play it. He's going to play it well. So, he definitely has had some really good games in his career on the Lee Sin. It is going to be Xin Zhao as the answer. But yeah, it's definitely not what he's been playing in recent years. But also in recent years, Lee Sin hasn't been in the meta. In NA,
exactly,
really the only person playing it was Jose, and that's just because he's kind of built diff on it.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
Exactly. But as we see it getting, more priority, he is going to be looking towards it.
So the Xin Zhao on the opposite side, kind of keeping with that, hey, we've got Enchanter bot, Xin Zhao good kind of combo, especially as we talk about like Lucian Milio, very proactive in that bottom lane to try and dash onto the Varus. So if you can get control there, opening up for Tattoo to try and play aggressive into Inspired Jungle, get in the face of this VC, it could be something that you look forward to. But already focus on those sports in the bottom lane.
The other thing I will say is we haven't seen it in a while, but Doppel is a ranged top enjoyer. This guy could play the Varus top if it feels like it's a good matchup. They could actually swap that up towards top and be like, just kidding, we're actually picking, Caitlyn. We're going to play heavy for the 2v2 against the Lucian. So I'll be curious to see where they do go. It is something that LYON used very, very effectively against Team Liquid. Way back in lock-in when Morgan was really on fire in his laning, LYON kind of made the judgment call that, hey, the only way Liquid win is if Morgan goes crazy in lane. So we're just going to pick Vayne. We're going to pick Varus. We're going to pick all these types of champs and just kind of lock you down in that 1v1.
A lot of focus towards all his champion pool here, though. Taking away the Alistair, the Pod that's already gone, now the Rakan as well. Starting down the pool, which comes towards those engaged supports that have an okay time against the Milio. So I'm curious to see what the game plan is, because things like Fiona and that aren't always great against the Milio because of that kickback and then the ultimate to deny your own DC.
It is very true, yeah, and we already seen a couple of these engaged champs that he does like to go towards, like Rel and the Vico are gone as well. And so it is going to be interesting to see where they go. I honestly wouldn't be super shocked if they just did Enchanter plus carry bot lane and then the Varus goes top. But doing Varus top line is pretty spooky, so I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go. But yeah, I was right. It is going to be Varus top, so I think it's going to be Kog'Maw bot, and they just go Kog'Maw plus Enchanter. So this doesn't shock me because it's LYON and because this is the kind of thing that they would do.
Yeah.
But I do think it's something that could catch their opponents off guard. And the answer is going to be Olaf here. So it's going to be Olaf top into this Varus. And that is pretty spooky, I will say, because if you get caught by the Axis, you could absolutely get run down. I would expect Swifty's Rush, that kind of style from Dokla, where you have to deal with the slows, given that it is Xin Zhao and Olaf. But I will say that early levels can be tough for Olaf. And because Varus top goes somewhat of a tanky build, maybe he can get into a spot where he can kind of just win out in that 1v1 anyway, because Varus can kind of just outstat a lot of top laners.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of what LYON are relying on, right? You get that push in the top side, you get the push in the mid, and I've seen, at least from some of the matchups over the LPL, that this Kog'Maw Lulu can outperform the Lucian Milio with a little bit of jungle help in the early stages. So I do think that's where the focus will be on trying to get this early push for the Kog'Maw Lulu and then trying to control that bottom side. Because if this comp starts to fall behind from LYON, that's where it gets spooky.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that are jumping on you from a lot of different directions, and you have a Leeson.
Yep. Don't worry, the Leeson could kick the Olaf. Oh, never mind.
Anyway, yeah. Or the Wild. Oh no.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough. So there are some scary champs on the other side for sure. But as you say, Cog Lulu. If you haven't seen this, recently, a lot of people think of Cog Lulu as, all right, you got to get super late game. But Cog Lulu is actually a really powerful laning duo, but they have specific windows of power, right? During the W activation for the Kog'Maw, you can walk forward and take really powerful trades, can be pretty nasty. And I will say the late game damage here from LYON is incredibly strong. You are playing double AD carry plus Victor with a Lulu. And yeah, you can't kick away the Olaf, but you can kick away other people. And you are going to win out as far as the DPS is concerned in a long fight. I like this angle from Furia. They're always going to go for level 1s.
I am also surprised to see Toots opt in towards the Sylas. Because at least in the LEC, we've seen this matchup a couple of times. And it has not gone well for the Sylas in any way, shape, or form. Like, the Victor gets to poke you out. You end up opting in towards, like, I've seen some people even just ignore taking W. You just put more points into Q, like Jojo Pyun, and just absolutely destroy the Sylas every time they step up.
I really wonder if they thought they had pinned LYON into picking some sort of bot lane that was going to give him good ults.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I feel like there's no good ults from the steal, right? Victor ult is fine. Leeson ult is fine if you can get like a weird kick flash angle. But in general, there's not a lot of great ults. There's none of those S-tier ultimates that you're really looking for. So I do wonder if they're like, okay, we've locked him down. He's going to have to play this, this, or this. And I would like to steal all of those.
Which is also where the Alistar ban kind of surprised me. Because you think, that's perfect. You go for the Alistar, we get the Unbreakable Will. But even in that regard, not wanting to give that one across. So I do think the early stages might be tough. As Guigo hit level 2.
Yeah, he hit level 2. And Dokla might be forced to flash, but does hang on to it. It's just going to take an early recall here. And this is Berserker on Ziggs before today. In 4 combined games, he lost them all, got 1 kill. Today, 11 kills in the performance. And look at the damage per minute.
Doubled it.
Double, more than double. He was smurfing. Dokla does have his flash, might have to use it. Getting very low here. Is getting Gigo low as well. They're both playing double combat sums. And look at Inspired. He's running straight up towards top. He did 3 camps, base for a longsword. He is looking to kill off this Olaf, and the bait is there. Flash away from Gigo, but not before he gets slowed up. Now Dokla likely to be able to get the push in here. Does have flash advantage, which is going to make it tough for Gigo to try to stop him from getting that wave in. Given that Dokla could always flash an axe and probably would be the difference maker in a 1v1.
A much needed gank on that top side as well from Inspired, like really starting to turn around, because I think Dokla got lucky with the timing on his bone plate. He might have been in a lot worse trouble if Gigo hadn't cancelled the auto and didn't have that. Still though, now getting control. First go to Crab on that top side. Should go the way of Tattoo. Go.
Wiles in a lot of trouble. Great polymorph keeps him safe just barely. Heavy trading down here on this bottom side. It is summoner advantage for Furia as Ayu still has his barrier. Berserker and Isles have both used theirs. And the wave is actually horrendous for Dokla. He couldn't get it in, only had 8 CS on his base here. And Gigo was able to actually freeze the wave. I kind of expected that Inspire would have helped him push in, but they were potentially nervous about the 2v2. Tato had been clearing up towards that side. And now Gigo is going to have a really nice advantage. He is up about 3/4 of a level. There will be some CS for him to pick up, but if Dokla dies on this timing, he's actually cooked in the 1v1. So Dokla has to be patient and let this push.
And there's Inspired to try and help him push out, make sure that he's able to step up. But even, as you say, in the 2v2, I don't know if you win.
But the 2v2 is not going to be what he finds here. Unfortunately, as Tatu completed the base, there's Dokla flashing away, and Gigo thought he had him. Tatu based early, Inspired shows up again. Knowing the importance of this top lane, Inspired is saying, you think I'm just going to power farm in this game? No, sir.
That is exactly what I was about to say. Inspired everywhere, but Saint, that didn't hit the way you wanted to.
Yeah, the absconded duck not able to find him. Tatu moving over. Inspired is getting up there as well. Toots can help potentially on this invade. Tatu has the red buff. They are the same level right now, exact same amount of camps taken. But Tatu's just running straight for bot. I mean, they know this. For sure they know this. And the wave is coming towards it, so it's not really that big of a deal. And at the end of the day, Tatu does kind of just lose some time. And Dokla really bailed out by the fact that he got that first blood because he has no CS.
Yeah, he would have been in a disastrous spot. Tatu, though, just getting to the bottom side, as you say, will get double crab, but getting a good trade here.
Yeah, getting a good start of that trade. Berserker does pop the barrier. Well timed on the polymorph there from Isles, but Ayu and JoJo, they win in these short trades, and that's what they're looking for. You dash in, you proc the PTA, you get some good damage out there. But Berserker, every time that W is back up, is looking to get some damage down. They are getting whittled down in that 2v2, though. Ayu and JoJo playing it well so far.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference maker here. The fact you are getting that push and control there gives a lot more towards Tattoo. Once again.
It's just tough. I mean, Toots goes in, you go for the abscond duck, but Saint just self-Ws, and if you stay in it, you're stunned. If you run away, you're getting hit as you run away, so it can be difficult. But Tatu's in the area. Inspired here again, as he knows they're closing in on those level 6 timings. Abscond duck going to connect this time, and he has the stolen ulti. Saint holding onto the flash. The last tick won't get him. Oh my God, I cannot believe he walked back.
No.
I thought he was about to step back in and die. Inspired now trying to farm here 4-6 as Isle's going to be just holding on. Saint, I mean, this is greedy as greedy gets. He wants to stay around and get a little bit more gold, so I have to assume he needed a minion or two more to get an item completion.
Inspired did steal away that camp, though, because they spot a Tattoo on the ward that was in the brush, so now finds him.
Yeah, it's going to be able to find him. Tatu just jumps right in. Doka's going to pop Ghost. They're going to flash in on a Doka. Doka's in a world of trouble. They're trying to focus down Tatu. The first kill will go the way of Lion, but Gigo is 6. Inspired has to run. Going to be able to ward hop over, but he finds Toots and gets taken out. 2-2, dead even in gold. Nice move there from Toots, who won out in that 1v1, and that's what made the difference.
And then we see here on the replay, is Tattoo immediately goes, right, Dokla has to be the focus. Managed to just jump on him with that third auto attack to get the knock up. The win becomes lightning. There's a lot, and Tattoo does go down, but Gigo kicking over to 6, having Tuss there for support, absolutely huge on the play. And as you say, it's because Saint had the control, but Berserker
in a lot of trouble there. The polymorph and the heal has to be used. Berserker, though, farming well. So if they can stay alive, they are scaling. And Ayu and JoJo, every time we look down here, they're winning the trades. But this is a dangerous moment right now as Berserker has no barrier and the wave is pushing away from them. Ayu positioning aggressively, both junglers moving down.
Ayu so close to level 6 as well. Could immediately open up with the culling, and I think that's what Lion realized. And look for the reset instead. Oh, it was a good sidestep there. As Saint investing vision on this bottom side as well, just a banana brush. They want to make sure they can spot out exactly where Tattoo's going and what his plan is.
And both junglers just ticked over to 6 there. Tatu off of that scuttle, and Inspired does grab it off the Krugs. And Tatu is going to be starting up this dragon here. Saint is going to be able to sidestep the absconded duck and maybe get a good trade here, which could give them an angle to move in. He gets stunned up there. Inspired coming in. Nice kick to disengage. Tatu secures the dragon, and so it's just kind of plays bodyguard, keeps him away there. It was pretty well played.
Has the TP to get back to lane as well, so not the end of the world. Should be able to pick up the majority of the CS and even help out Tatu, who Inspired is trying to invade on here for the Raptors.
Yeah, Inspired is moving in, knows that he has smite advantage, but also knows that it could be difficult because both top laners are moving down. Toots is TP'd back. Dokla going to have to be pretty careful here. So instead, they might just start up the grubs. Tatu still has no smite. Of course, Lion might not know that, but they do know he at least used one charge over on that dragon.
Dokla has no flash, though, and I think that's what Gigo's eyeing up. Knows that he can just flash on top of him alongside Tatu, so Dokla has to play very far back in this one as Saint teleports back to mid, but at least give Tatu time for one here.
Yeah, looks like he's going to be able to grab that, no problem. Doka staying around, trying to see if he can make him at least use a smite charge by threatening with the arrow. Of course, Tatu is not concerned about it. Berserker and Isles pushing in here. It is farm advantages in mid and bot there for Lion, but it looks like it is going to be all 3 grubs going the way of Furia. They decide, you know what, let's not risk it here. You do have the Swifties on the Varus, but still, it's tough to just walk into an Olaf in a position like that, especially when he already has the early steel caps. If Saint is not there, you probably just don't have the damage.
It's very, very scary. So I think it's the right call, but they are going for an invade on towards the Krugs. Inspired already stole them away on that last timer, so just going to try and look for the red buff here instead. Tatu should be able to come across in a second, though.
Yeah, but no smite for Tatu, so Inspired should be able to grab this no problem. And it is an E-smite to secure it. Doka can head back up towards top to try to grab this wave. Gigo will be able to grab a plate for himself. So, yeah, you lost the red buff, but Doka lost some minions, and you grabbed the plate. And it is going to be scary. Gigo, we're assuming, is going to go in towards Strivebreaker and just be looking to run down these 80 carries.
I think Inspired has been finding good opportunities to get back in towards that CS and experience because, oh, hang on.
We'll see if Doka is going to have to flash. I feel like that was way too early all from Gigo, and He kind of just used the ult for a trade that he could have gotten even without it. I mean, he has Swifty Boots and he's right beside his tower. I just don't think you're killing him.
Dokla didn't even pop the Chains of Corruption, right? No. So now you just don't have that. And immediately I see Lee Sin beelining towards that top lane. It's like, oh, goody.
Yeah, I mean, if you get hit by the Chains of Corruption into the Lee Sin ult, you're probably just dead. So a pretty big misstep there from Gigo, but he seems to know it. He's playing far back, and I'm not sure that they'd want to go for a dive. Furia sending their bot lane up towards top here, and are going to be looking for the swap. Inspired will be spotted, and there's just no way you go for a dive. Yeah, he doesn't have ult, but he's still very healthy and has the W shield.
Yeah, I had the Sundered Sky completed, so I was trying to use that timing window, but Dokla actually costs.
Yeah, Dokla going to pop the Ghost. Gigo does as well. Ayu and Jojo are revealed, so you can see Isles moving up towards that top side. They do have the extra man on this side of the map for now. Saint just constantly whittling away onto Toots. You can see that Berserker is basing to match, so Berserker is going to be heading out on the map, heading up towards top. So they're sending the Varus down towards bot. The wave is going to bounce and push to him because they did get that push in from Berserker. So LYON playing the map well. I feel like LYON in this game are saying to themselves, we don't need to do anything. It's you guys that need to do something because, yeah, Olaf is scary, but at the same time, you get to 3 items and Olaf isn't ahead. You walk into Victor, Varus, and Kog'Maw, and you're probably just dying. So, you know, it's not necessarily a guarantee by any means, even though you're CC immune, you're not damage immune.
Yeah, and there is going to be that leaps and bounds. And even the execute from the Lee Sin going to be doing work as you get towards that lower health. So you do have to be a little careful as Inspired again playing around Dokla here. I'm not going to be able to find this. But as you say, like, I do think that LYON are playing well on like how they're rotating around the map, how they're keeping check. And again, I wanted to highlight Inspired because I think his invades have been good, finding time to steal away like the red buff, and before that it was the Crux, and then covering for that top lane play as well. Like you kind of touched on already. Hang on, Saint. Nah, it should be fine.
Yeah, we'll just be a trade back and forth there.
But you were saying like Inspired has been for so long been the I will farm. I'm like just gonna calculate the best, most efficient way to get through this jungle. But in this game, he's been shadowing incredibly well. He's been covering for Dokla. He's been still finding those moments to steal away camps. And I think it speaks volumes to him as a jungler and what he's capable of.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something we talked about earlier as well, where Inspired, to me, he plays whatever he believes is the highest percentage chance to win the game. So if he's playing a champion that scales well and he thinks that, you know, it's just going to be a defensive game, then that's what he's going to do. If he feels the way to win the game is to farm 0 camps and chain gank, that's what he's going to do. If he feels like you're behind and they can do nothing but fight, he's going to flash on your head. And that's something that I really do respect, is his ability to kind of just identify what he believes to be the win con and stick to it no matter what. So we'll see. Gigo does have the ult. He has no ghost, so we'll see if he wants to look for any sort of crazy play here. Dokla, a little bit nervous, does have Inspired behind him, was just backing up knowing Tatu could be there. Furia are going to be likely grabbing their second dragon here uncontested, which is nice, but it's not the end of the world.
It is also a weird lane assignment from Furia because you've got range versus melee mid and top, so you're kind of getting Dokla to farm for relatively free. You're not really pushing much advantage for right in the mid, and it just means plates are being taken by Berserker in the top lane. So I do think they need to swap this up a little bit because you can see Guigon not having the best of times here.
No, not at all. But Berserker does take a couple tower shots there, so is put a little bit low. Gigo obviously wants to go back to base. Remember, he is playing Ghost Flash, as is Dokla, so they will get the TP, but only from the roll quest, and it's not going to be, you know, with that big shield coming in, and it is a longer cooldown, right? So you do have to keep that in mind. So Gigo might not decide to just use it now. He does have the ulti. He is under tower, so I think he's going to be feeling comfortable to stay under here. Tatu just running straight on in. They're going to try to force a fight, it looks like, but the heal is popped there just for a bit of move speed, and Isles and Berserker sidestep. The wind becomes lightning, and they are chilling.
I started to roam up as well, but then Gigo, not entirely sure where they are, but now get info. But
yeah, Dokla, that Chains of Corruption was stolen away, and it's going to be thrown onto him by Toots. Toots trying to run away. Now as Saint's going to come in with the TP. Saint will push him back, but I don't think there's an angle for a kill, so it will just be a reset. And maybe a little bit of farm loss mid, but not a big deal. Looks like Saint had already killed the wave. Inspired's just going to shove this one and says, thank you very much. I will take that.
Such a nice jungler when he ends up taking the
Don't worry,
wave.
bro, I got the wave.
Yeah, you're good, yeah. And I spotted the cannon for you, just in case you're going to miss that one. But still, yeah, I think, like, again, this is kind of showing LYON moving around the map well. like you TP down to the bottom lane, but you get to clear it out. Now you just set the bars mid, and like constantly rotating with these range champions means that you never really end up in a particularly bad matchup, where it is more on Furia to guarantee that they are getting like Dokla versus Gigo and these kind of matchups, which they haven't quite been able to find just yet.
Lethal tempo obviously available for Berserker, and there's the Ardent Sensor. He has the Rage Blade, so if he has time to actually stand in fire, he is going to be doing a huge amount of damage. Generally, I feel like Kog'Maw, you don't always need to go full damage builds. You can kind of get a couple damage items and then just go tanky.
Yeah.
And I think especially that is true against a team like this. When you look at Olaf, Xin, and Sylas, they are going to be flashing on your head and trying to take you down. So going that more defensive build, I think, makes a lot of sense here. As Furia trying to leverage their ability on these objectives, as we didn't even see why Gigo popped that, but he didn't do a point of damage to Dokla during his ult, and now LYON might want to try to take the fight here. The Herald, though, already has been claimed, and I feel like LYON decide discretion is the better part of valor. Toots looking for a fight here onto Saint. Flashes out of that stun, and Saint might be forced to use his own flash. He is going to have to. The trade of ultis, a trade of flashes, and now it's a battle on the top side as Tatsu pops the Crescent Guard, will have to just run away. Berserker loses his flash, though, as the Saint. So LYON could be in trouble at this next dragon fight, which would mean Furia, if they just take it, that's sole point for them.
Yeah, you can see LYON want to try and contest, but it was very hard for Dokla to try and move into position, as Gigo is going to be able to constantly contest him on taking spaces.
Oh, look at the spacing there from Berserker with the W active. He is not to be messed with. Takes a couple plates and deals a lot of damage there. As if you don't have the cooldowns to threaten him, really all he needs is that one basic ability to be up, and he gets buffed up by Isles, and he can definitely threaten you.
Yeah, and especially with the way that Gigo's been playing, I'm not as convinced about his timings on these ultimates. He called it out just before the start of that fight as well. If you're not getting value from that ultimate, there is no real threat on towards Berserker. Like, he can definitely play back. You've got like Polymorph for Tuts or for Tattoo as he starts to go in. Like, a lot of that kill the Kog'Maw relies on this Olaf. And if Gigo now is going to be put further behind here, that's not ideal for Furia.
And Gigo does have the ulti back. We'll know if Inspired has the exact timing. He's going to pop it, but Inspired just ward hops back out. You're not going to kill him in a position like that. So back-to-back ults, no value.
Exactly, and that's the value for Dokla, right? Because now he's got significantly more safety. He doesn't have to change the corruption for the next little bit, but still, it's going to be Furia now trying to respond to the tier 1 taken on the top side. They should be able to get this on the bot lane, but now push on mid as well. There's a lot of movement here from LYON.
Yeah, I mean, that is tough. LYON are just choking them out. The kills are even. The gold is very much in LYON's favor, though. Up over 2,000 gold now at this point after they took that first tower on top side. Dokla grabbing that gold for himself. Finally, the Strikebreaker has been completed there by Gigo, but I worry for Furia. It feels like a lot is going to come down to this next fight, and I just wonder, do LYON stake their game on this next fight? Because if you show up to the fight, your carries die, and you give soul point, that's pretty bad. But also, giving soul point for free is kind of scary too, but you don't have flash on Saint or Berserker.
Yeah, especially a Mountain Dragon as well. Like, a Mountain Soul is so valuable for Furia, but yeah, I think it's a hard call at this stage. If you had the second item completed for Berserker, I think it'd be all hands on deck, but still just a little bit away makes this tough.
And maybe they'll just try to delay it, right? They'll just try to stay around, push in waves, threaten towers. Berserker, of course, did go for the steel cap, so took the defensive option there. And LYON are first to the scene. You can see Toots moving up from bot lane, trying to get behind them. Tatsu just going to go in immediately onto Saint, but pops the Crescent Guard. He's getting nothing done. He's going to get kicked back to the team, and Tatsu has sold his team down the river. Went in way too early on that one.
Well, there's your answer, Azael. LYON able to get the pick and now get that dragon without too much of a fight. Furia overextending towards that river and punished, but Toots wants to see if he can get more. Has that kick, but spotted on a ward.
Berserker, no flash. Toots does not have one either, though. Great sidestep from Miles, and that's going to mean nothing doing for Furia. Because I'm not sure what Tatsu saw. I mean, he just jumped on Sage immediately, but your Lucian is mid. Your Sylas is still walking from bot. The Olaf's not even there. That was a risky move. Maybe he didn't think Inspire was there. We'd have to see it from his vision, kind of understand why he thought that was a good play to go for. But once he jumped in, Inspired says, thank you very much, kicks him back into the team. Free kill, free dragon.
And that kind of solves that problem, right? Because now you're getting towards your second item as Berserker, just completed there on the reset. You're now in a much stronger position. Like, it now becomes difficult for Furia to try and find these key moments. I think this was your time. Like, Lucian quite strong at the moment. Tuts was going to have a decent performance. And even having like a Battle Herald to access the backline would have been the perfect scenario. So as long now you're able to back it up, I think you're happy now as long.
Absolutely, yeah. Their flashes are going to be back up before they have to fight. Navori is now done for Berserker, which we talk about those windows of power when you do have the W ready. Well, now it's kind of always ready, right? As long as you're hitting, you're going to have perma W with that Navori pretty much. And you can see the Rocket Pelt done for Saint, which again, I think some defensive itemization makes a lot of sense there when there are so many melee champions here. And kiting out, just even dodging one axe from an Olaf can make the difference as Ayu goes for it, but he does not like this trade. Ayu is just getting roasted by Berserker. Inspired on the side, has to use the kick for the disengage. Toots comes in, double TB coming in here from LYON. They want to fight. Ayu is out of this already. Tatu is going in. In comes Gigo from the top side, though, and Berserker is in trouble. Berserker still has no flash, but they have a backup AD carry. Dokla is here to play as Saint picks up the double. LYON win the fight here. Ayu was pushed out, but Furia pushed for the fight regardless, knowing there was no flash on Berserker. They do punish him, but Baron is up, and Varus is more than enough.
Furia thought they had their moment, but they just couldn't do it. LYON still, with so much damage in the tank, burst through the health bars of Furia. And that Baron is going to do so much work for LYON. Although, Harold, Shelly's just going to say hi mid lane. It's fine. She's all good.
She's chilling. I mean, it's not the fastest Baron in the world because it is a top lane Varus. It's not on hit, but they do knock it down, and they're going to be able to defend the mid lane tower as well. They get to charge him, but it's starting to feel like Furia's time in this game is running out. You're playing against a team that has so much damage, so much consistent damage, in fact, as they try to jump on Inspired.
Yeah. I mean, immediate kick away. And it's the Lee Sin is not the person that you want to be trying to jump on in these sorts of situations because he has that mobility. And Furia, to give them a credit, I think do a fine job of finding Berserker on this mid wave. But you just have so much left in the tank afterwards. Saint in a good position, Dokla happy to follow up. And Isles, doesn't really matter who he's putting that speed up onto, whether it's the Cog or the Varus, you're getting value.
Like I said, backup AD carry. You can't trust them to position well. That's why you bring two. And Saint going to be pushing Toots back, who is not having any fun in this matchup now. We'll see if he can try to turn it around. Stolen ulti. Big chunk of burst onto Saint. Saint trying to kite this one out, but Inspired is coming in behind him as Berserker flash away there from Saint. Nicely done. Is going to buy the time here to finish it off. It's a rampage for Saint.
Toots threw out the chain, but ended up connecting onto a minion by accident and ends up setting himself back away from Saint. He's trying his damnedest to make the plays happen, but it's now LYON in that top side getting a bit more.
It's the gold lead in action. You can bribe minions when you got the 5K gold lead.
Just slide them €5, yeah.
Slide them a $5. Take that Abscondum duck for me, buddy.
Yeah. What a homie. Yeah. And for a $5 as well, Jace.
Yeah. In this economy, too.
I know, yeah.
Wow. Crazy stuff. Inspired looking to try to wrap around here onto Tatu. Does have a nice sidestep there on the Sonic Wave. You can see he's just going to go in. They're just going to try to send it. Saint, though, not really in trouble. And Tatu is. Ayu going to have to flash away. The Sonic Wave connects, and that means he is dead, as is Jojo. Gigo arrives. But where are you going to go? It's a 1v4. He pops the ulti. He runs straight in, and he finds his way back to the grave. Toots going in. It's a triple already for Dokla. The CC is there. The safeguard is there.
He's alive.
It's another kill, and Dokla refuses to fall. Quadra for the Varus, and surely LYON just won the game.
Big Dokes has just enough left to keep himself alive. LYON are absolutely destroying Furia in this game 3.
They are crushing him, and the Nexus won't fall just yet, but it is now an 11,000 gold lead here for LYON. As Tatu just feels like we just have to force.
Yeah, and you kind of have to. You're trying to get in position, but it's fired. Hopping over the wall completely removes the Lucian from play. And with the damage that is coming out from Dokla and Saint, there is nowhere left to run. And you can see here the problem we were talking about. Olaf, not immune to damage, immediately falls. Tush tries to make it work, but the heal from Isles, the shield from the Lee Sin, and a happy Quadra for the top laner.
Yeah, that is tough. I mean, the Lulu peel, shields, the safeguard, everything needed there, and does keep him alive. Saint going to get jumped on already, but Saint is level 16. Flash forward from Tatu. They are going to full send it. They know they need to get something done. Berserker is here on the side. The Crescent Guard going to buy a little bit of time. Berserker has that lethal tempo stack. Gigo going to look for him, but over comes Isles, over comes Inspired, and Gigo has no chance. He is down, but they shut down Saint on the other side. Now they're going to try to run for it. Chains of Corruption does connect. It's going to be stolen back by Toots. Inspired in the backline, a three-man Wild Growth. Tatu on a Berserker, but he can't win that fight. Inspired once more, and he's going to get it. A quadra for Dokla, and now a quadra for Inspired as he plants his flag on the corpses of Furia, and they march on the base.
LYON continue to walk forward. They continue to click heads, and they are falling everywhere for Furia. They look so confident in this position. With Inspired having the backup of the Lulu, gets the quadra kill. It looks so beautiful.
It's a beautiful Wild Growth there. Nice combo from Isles, and Inspired jumped in the middle of the team. Three-man Wild Growth. It's a bounce house for Furia. Still, they will have at least one more fight, but 15,000 gold. The Seeker is now done there for Saint. Another item completed for Berserker just means they're that much harder to take down. Seekers as well on Dokla. The options are few and far between for Furia.
And the Terminus for Berserker just means he's going to be that much tankier as well, that much more difficult to take down. When you were already struggling to deal with the Kog'Maw, it only gets worse from here. Furia, to give them their credit, have been trying desperately to find these moments, to find these windows to punish LYON, but it has always come back to bite them. And it looks like LYON may just be in a position to get one back for that America's Cup.
LYON with their best game in the series by far. This one very controlled, really playing kind of that style that you expect from LYON. Play the map, play towards that win condition. Isles caught out here, will get shut down. Inspired, not going to go in for it though. They will play slow. And there's nothing on the map for Furia to gain here. That's the problem. You'd want to full send it. Any chance here, even a 5%er is probably better than you're going to get. But there's just nothing for them to go for. And now Berserker moving down. They're going to try to look for Gigo, who is very far up. No flash, no ghost. Don't think he has much of a chance to get out of this one. And now he gets the bad news as there's Inspired. There's Berserker, pops the ulti, tries to run for it. The Axe buying a little bit of time, but Inspired just taxis in on top of him. That ultimate has expired as has his time alive. Inspired dominating in this one, 6-1 and 9 as IU's just trying to clear the waves and buy some time. Toots is pushing for an objective bounty top, but LYON are looking to seal the deal.
Inspired still has that kick available, so one Sonic Wave, maybe the death of IU. You have to be very careful as the Fury 80 carry. But LYON happy to take these structures in the face of Furia.
They absolutely are. Toots TB back to the base. There's the kick flash on IU, but it's not going to get much of anything at all. IU was able to dash back out to safety. Berserker, though, pushing up. Tatu hit low. Toots goes in, and Toots could be in some trouble trying to retreat back there. It's going to be cleansed by the Breath of Life from JoJo. Toots running. He needs to hold on. He can do it for now. The piercing arrow doesn't finish him. Saint, though, gets another man low. IU and Toots are bleeding out in the fountain. Furia's base is dying. They got to go now if it's ever going to happen. The Zonias will buy a little bit of time, but Toots is going to fall as soon as he comes out. Gigo pulls the trigger, goes for Berserker, is knocked out of the sky. Back to the grave, and they can only watch as the Nexus will surely fall. It's fish in a barrel. LYON at insult to injury. Revenge for America's Cup is oh so sweet. It's a 3-0 sweep for LYON.
First two games of this series were close, were hard fought, where LYON were pushed to their limit. But game 3 was just a sound off of a victory triumph for the North American representatives.
The best for last there from LYON. Their best performance by far in this final game. Felt like Inspired was everywhere he needed to be to cover his lanes, to buy them the time to scale. And scale they did. They performed well in the fights. Saint and Berserker with some really impressive games, and the flexibility in the draft, I think, showcased there from LYON as well.
Yeah, really impressive stuff from LYON, and looks like back to our regularly scheduled 3-0s. It seems like an MSI after a 5-game series yesterday. Wow. But honestly, for Furia, like, shout out to them. They played incredibly well in those first two games. Looked so close.
I absolutely agree. Furia definitely can hold their heads high, and they will have another chance. But it's going to be against some Titans in the lower bracket. AD, how are you feeling?
Well, it's LYON that roars the loudest and gets that 3-0 home. Not sovereignly, I'm just going to say that. In Game 3, they showed their real strength. Brass, we had to wait for it, and I'm happy that